Good afternoon, board members, staff, members in the audience. Let the record show that today is December the 2nd. The time is 3 p.m. And we will now call the meeting of the Amherst County Board of Supervisors to order. Board members, is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Got a motion on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. The agenda is now approved. And we will start with the invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Pugh will lead us in the pledge. Mr. Martin will lead us in prayer.
Let's pray. Our Father and our God, Lord, we just come to you this day as your humble servants. Lord, we lift up our great county to you. We lift our citizens up to you, Father, and pray a special blessing on them. Father, give this board wisdom as we discuss the matters before us. Father, we ask a special blessing on our employees, our law enforcement, public safety, Father. We just pray that you will be with them as they do your work. And we ask these things in your Son's name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Martin. Thank you, Mr. Pugh. Before we get started, we've got a full house here today, and I want to thank everybody. The board wants to thank everybody that came out for various reasons. There's a number of reasons, number of issues here that have high public interest, and we appreciate you taking time out of your day to educate yourself and come out here and make your voice known. It's very important to all of us. We will be civil. I mean, all of us have got a good manner, so you use the manners your mama taught you, all right? So before we get started, I've got a statement that I want to read. Hopefully this will kind of set the table for us as we go into our deliberations and our conversations. The process for the real estate assessment is contained in the Virginia State Code, not an Amherst County ordinance. It is found in Chapter 32, Section 58.1, 3280. Using that as a starting point, the code requires that a real estate assessment be assessed at fair market value. The code also speaks to the frequency of the assessment. For cities greater than 30,000 citizens, assessments must occur every 2 years. For counties with 50,000 or less, which is Amherst County, they may choose a 5 or 6 year interval, but the localities may opt for annual assessments or 2 to 3 year assessments. The Amherst County Board of Supervisors is considering moving away from the 6 year cycle and looking at every 2 to 3 years to avoid sticker shock. There have been a lot of questions regarding the company that did the assessment and how they were chosen. We will answer that here. County staff put out an RFP and interviewed 3 companies, one of which was Pearson. One company used technology only, meaning that there were no location visits. We felt that the citizens were not ready for that modality and chose Pearson, which is a hybrid model, using technology and in person. Pearson had by far the most experience in Virginia, and the third company had very limited experience. The Board of Supervisors made the decision to go with Pearson. Pearson is the assessor of choice for approximately 40 counties in Virginia. Locally, they've done Appomattox and Fluvanna. There's also been talk of Pearson going out of business. That is absolutely not true. They were acquired by Vision Government Services, and there's a big difference in going out of business and being acquired. Like many sectors, there's vertical integration where the smaller companies are bought out by larger companies, very similar to what we've seen in hospitals, veterinary clinics, insurance companies, etc. It's important to note, and I can't say this enough, all of us have said this, your assessment went up. None of us will know what the tax rate will be until this Board of Supervisors sets the tax rate. That will occur in late winter, early spring. It is currently 61 cents. We can tell you that it will go down, but until we get all the numbers from various departments and our constitutional officers, we cannot tell you by how much. The average assessment was up 65 to 70%. There is a detailed process to appeal, which is also found in the state code. If you want to appeal, call the number on your assessment and make an appointment. You will meet with a member from Pearson's staff who is well-versed in the process. If you are still not pleased, you can appeal to the Board of Equalization. This is a board of Amherst citizens who take their job very seriously. This board appointed them. We can't stress enough that you should come prepared with facts about why you feel the assessment is wrong. Just saying it's just too much, or I can't sell my house for that, or it needs painting is not enough. Look at Realtor, look at Zillow, and use what houses similar to yours and in your neighborhood have sold for, and come prepared with those facts. If you are still not satisfied, you can appeal to the circuit court. The last day to call for an appeal for an appointment is December the 10th. December the 10th, last day to call to get your appointment. Lastly, every member of this board is going through what you're going through. I can tell you that mine went up 86%. All of us are doing the best we can for Amherst County. Civility and mutual respect go a long way. I personally have been accused of collusion and getting kickbacks from the appraisal company. There's just no place for comments like that for any of us. We are all in this together, and we were all going to get through this together. So I appreciate y'all's civility, appreciate your patience, and I appreciate your good manners. Now, moving on. We're going to open up citizen comments. We had some people sign up, and if you're not on here and you still want to speak, you can certainly do that. Just raise your hand, all right? So let me call the names first. But when I'm ready, I'll say, hey, anybody else want to speak? And that's your turn, all right? Okay, Ron Fisher. Is Mr. Ron Fisher here? And when you come up, please give us your name. If you know what district you're in, fine. If you can point to one of us because you know that's your district, also fine. All right,
Okay, sure.
Please proceed, Mr. Fisher.
Good afternoon, Madam Chair and members of the board. I'm Ron Fisher. I'm co-owner of Pleasant View Ventures, the old Pleasant View Elementary School that we're transitioning into Pleasant Vista on Dancing Creek. I own the property with my wife, Jenna, who is unfortunately in Nashville on business today, but would definitely be here. We received our reassessment. We had been out of the country and returned recently and opened the letter yesterday. And the numbers that applied to our property really contained a clear and significant error. Our overall assessment went up 790%. The overall building assessment went up 1,061%, putting us at $3.648 million for property assessment. Needless to say, shock was the first word. That has subsequently turned to different emotions today. Some of the facts. This is a former school, as many of you know, undergoing a complex multi-year renovation. As of January 1, there will still be large portions of the facility that are still undergoing renovation. The facilities only has partial occupancy at this time. We have not yet even approached the board about overnight accommodation approval. Those overnight accommodations are undergoing renovation at this time. And the property has not even produced any income. We've had one event, a wedding in October. Largely, we were able to accommodate that because of the weather, the pleasant weather, and the size of the wedding party. It could fit into our completed facilities. Yet the assessment treats the building as if it were fully completed commercial hospitality venue. This directly conflicts with Virginia Code 58.1-3201, which requires all real estate to be assessed at fair market value, open to interpretation, value based on its actual physical condition and actual legal use as of January 1. This is not a difference of opinion. It is a factual miscalculation. I believe Amherst County is recognized by the Commonwealth as an economically distressed community. Is that fair to say? And in some measures, it's even doubly distressed. Yet our reassessment was calculated as if we were located in a high-growth, high-income region like Northern Virginia. This disconnect harms residents and discourages local investment at a time when Amherst County really should be supporting revitalization and economic growth. When an assessment increases by this amount,
Mr. Fisher, you've got 1 minute.
yes, I'll finish. When you have an assessment that increases by this amount and over 1,000% on a building still undergoing renovation, it raises serious questions about the accuracy and oversight within the reassessment process. I'm asking for accountability, not in a punitive sense, but in a responsible and procedural sense. Residents deserve to know how such an error could occur and what corrective safeguards will be implemented moving forward. We're initiating the formal appeal process, have an appointment Thursday, and I'm prepared with all the data I need to take it to the Board of Equalization if necessary. All I ask today is respectfully that the county leadership ensures that this assessment is reviewed promptly and corrected based on facts, laws, and common sense. My wife and I are making a substantial investment locally to restore a major community asset. When an unfinished building is suddenly valued as a completed commercial venue, it not only places undue strain on a young business, it sends the message that local investment may not be protected or valued. We definitely want Amherst County to thrive. We want to contribute to its growth, but assessments must reflect actual condition and comply with Virginia law so that local investors can continue building here with confidence. Thank you for your time and your service to the people of Amherst County.
Thank you, Mr. Fisher.
Thank you, sir.
One thing that I forgot to mention, folks, is that it's 3 minutes, and I forgot to tell you all that. So we've got a clock up here, and I'll remind you when you get to 30 seconds left. All right, thank you. Next, we have Gordon Sandage.
My name is Gordon Sandage, and I'm not sure which district I'm in, but I live on Ebenezer Road, and there I just purchased 2 lots the first part of this year, and those 2 lots is zoned agricultural, and there's nothing I can do with those 2 lots except for plant trees on it. And I got wood yard and everything around me, and the price has tripled since the first of this year. And I don't see where it makes sense to triple the price of it in less than a year's time. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Sandage, you understand the process for appealing, right?
Yes.
Okay, all right. Next, we have Mr. Vasquez.
Good afternoon. My name is Jim Vasquez, and I'm from District 3. I have letters from other district members who would like to convey their thoughts to the board. I would like to mirror Ms. Tucker's remarks regarding civility and manners. There have been online vituperations, vitriol, anger by Virginians directed at Virginians. Let us all endeavor to do better. I will call your attention to 4 matters today: jurisprudence again, property assessment, and revocation. I do believe that our Commonwealth Attorney's Office has secretly and with subterfuge violated the oath to the Constitution where due process is involved, and specifically regarding Brady violations. The Commonwealth's attorney and I had a heated discussion about civil rights and due process, and specifically Brady versus Maryland. I am dismayed that he secretly besmirched our deputy sheriff with a Brady letter. Jurisprudence again. Our county prosecutes defendants without the underlying sworn affidavit in violation of the Constitution's 4th and 14th Amendment. And of course, property assessments. I am keenly interested in seeing how this board will handle these property taxes increases that we landowners face. And finally, I rise today once again to request that this board revoke the special exception granted to 3 Oaks Manor at 219 Phyllis Lee Drive. As you all know, Amherst County Code allows the board to revoke based on an error or omission in the application. It is incumbent upon you, the members of this board, individually and severally, to acknowledge that a procedural error was made and move this board to action. Any member may at any time make this motion. The applicant did not disclose that the special exception was for an LLC. The applicant omitted the signature of the co-owner of Three Oaks Manor. So the board need not concern itself with complicated parliamentary maneuvers regarding changed conditions or violations. The lack of disclosure and omitted signature are legitimate prima facie reasons to initiate revocation. Didn't this very county halt construction and apartments on Amherst Highway because the setbacks were short by some inches? We've all witnessed and experienced this board's courage when you denied other special exceptions that were
You have 30
problematic.
seconds, sir.
Now is the time to show the courage again. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Next, we have David Nash.
Good afternoon, David Nash, Temperance District. I came here today with the intent to absolutely hammer Pearson for what I believed were flawed methodologies. For example, we have 3 houses at Clifford. One of those houses is a one-story cinder block house. It sits on 7 acres of land. When the assessment came, it said it sits on 1 acre of land, and the assessed value went to $350,000, which is absurd and it's not even based on reality and is delusional. We have a 2-story brick house next door. The assessment came and it said that it sits on 7 acres of land, and the assessed value did not go up but about 20%. I went up to the tax and real estate office this morning to investigate. It comes to find out the county GIS system has crisscrossed the properties. So in fact, the 2-story brick house rose 101% to $350,000, and the cinder block house only about 20%, which is more reasonable. I'm going to appeal those, but nonetheless. My father bought 6 lots from the T.S. Williams subdivision on 29 north of 151 years ago. In the 90s, he bought 4 more lots from Melvin Taylor. When the assessment came, it appeared to me that the 4 lots he bought, they were claiming that it amounted to 5.74 acres, which appeared to be a mistake of fact because that area only amounts to 2.34 acres. I went up to the real estate and tax office again and investigated. It turns out, unbeknownst to me, my father combined his original 6 lots with the additional 4 lots, and that amounts to 5.74 acres. So what appeared, completely wrong is not a mistaken fact, and so I don't believe their methodologies were egregiously flawed in our case. And I had some other things I would say, but I know there's a time limit, so thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Nash. Next, we have Eric Rossi, excuse me.
Hello, Board. My name is Eric Rossi. I'm from District 5. Yeah, opening the letter was a shock. Understanding that my house has been undervalued, and I knew there was a time coming it was going to happen. A little more transparency maybe so this doesn't occur would probably be in the board's better interest. Letting people know, hey, it's getting about that time. We're going to be sending out new numbers so people can start getting their ducks in a row, especially just before the holidays. I'm thinking about budgets, as I said, on the school board. And I understand that 26% of the budget, county's budget goes to the schools. And I know that there's stuff that the schools need. And I think about some of the ways that the county spent money. I've noticed a lot of the flock cameras going up in Madison Heights particularly. Doing a little research on those cameras, and I'm not bashing the sheriff's office, so the flock camera, you have a monthly fee. So you don't own it, you lease it. It's about $2,500 a month per camera. There's 10 in Madison Heights, approximately, maybe. So these cameras are up collecting data, plate readers. They also collect other information. I know the pictures are deleted after 30 days, but the vehicle's make, model, color, stickers, damage, any type of aftermarket things that are placed on the cars. It's violating our Fourth Amendment. and it's expense that the county doesn't, there's no evidence that I've found yet that the flock camera has reduced crime. I don't know how they sold you on it, but it hasn't reduced crime anywhere. It may have helped solve some, but it hasn't reduced crime in any areas. So as we go through the budget process and we're talking about where we're gonna spend our money, we gotta make better choices, right? We gotta look out for the best interest of the county. Increasing the tax rate would be better understood if the taxpayers of this county see the fruits of what they put in there. You know, if they see the new roads or new lights going up on 29 because it's so dark on Madison Heights Highway. You know, if there was something tangible that they could see. I know a lot of stuff goes on behind the scenes. I totally get that. Water pump, water filtration systems, all that stuff that makes a county run. But to raise taxes and not see fruits of their labor, it's upsetting for any citizen that has to pay taxes. The slaves in Egypt paid 20% of their wages to the Pharaoh.
9 seconds left, sorry.
20% of their Pharaoh. We fought a revolution over 3% T-tax, so just be aware of where the money's going. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that's everybody that signed up. Now we get to the part where if you want to speak, you can raise your hand. You raise your hand first when we, gentleman here on the front seat in the red jacket. Yes, and I'll get to everybody else. You.
Y'all know me by names many times. I've been up here. I'm Mike Bryant from 4th District. I think Chris Adams is my man. And the reason I'm out here today is I ain't fussing about car taxes day. I'm out here about reassessment. And when I opened my letter, I said, great day, 89% increase. I said, that's a whole lot. And so I talked to a lot of people in my subdivision. Man down the street said, you got 89? He said, I got 45. I said, what? He said 45. Another guy said, I got 60. Another guy said, I got 51. And another guy told me, said, well, I got 60. Well, I said, I don't know why mine's so high. So I did come, I done been over here to the people where you make a complaint to the people's done the thing and everything. So I come up to you yesterday, I think I talked to the guy Pearson, Fred was in charge with it. He talked to him, and he looked at it, and he said, yeah, I believe your house is too high. Well, he asked me some questions. I said, well, I couldn't think then, because he told me, said, you need anything done to your house, any work done to it, or anything, you know, that's going to make it go down. My wife started telling him how good it was. I said, but you be quiet. Don't you be telling him how good the house is. I said, I'm going to tell him what it needs to be done to the house. So I went home and I got to thinking, but I took my iPad and I took a bunch of pictures of stuff out here that was need to be done to the house. So I called the lady up and she said, I said, I'm coming back and I want to talk to another guy again. She said, well, you come on back tomorrow at 10:30. Well, when I got you today, they told me, they said, you was not supposed to get another appointment that quick. I said, well, it must have been an angel looking there for me. I got an appointment that quick. So, but he looked at it and talked to Will today. Fred wasn't there, so Will was there, and he talked to me, and he asked me a lot of questions about it, and he said that, yeah, he said, we're going to look at this again. I'm going to call Fred tonight. And he said, give me your telephone number. He said, I'll call you tonight and talk to you. But when I went on the Amherst GIS, I looked up 5 or 6 houses in my area. Some of them had more square footage, was rated less. And I said some of the houses was newer, was rated less. So I said, and he said, give me that sheet of paper. He said, I had about 5 or 6 houses on there. So something ain't exactly, I don't know how they done it. I mean, I'm not no professional in doing house. I ain't planning on selling mine no way, but.
Got 30 seconds.
I got 30 seconds. Okay, I'm gonna get away from here. Anyway, I talked to a guy the other day. He said, I had a professional people come here and estimate my house from the bank. He said, you know what, Mike? They estimated $25,000 cheaper than the reassessment people. I said, well, I don't understand that, but I don't know how professional they are, but I thought it was a little high.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. All right, next. Person back there against the wall in front of the window. Yes, you.
My name is Stephanie Tomlin, and I reside at Isaac Walton Road. I think it's the 5th District. And I am a mortgage lender, so I look at GISs and appraisals daily. One of the things that I wanted to come on here, my assessment, I own properties and I'm also a business owner in Amherst County, went up $700,000. And I know I'm in the same boat everybody else is, but one of the things I want to talk about is, as a mortgage lender or realtor, when we see out-of-town appraisers, we start shaking our head. Amherst, Lynchburg, Bedford, Campbell, Appomattox, we're kind of our own entity, and a lot of people from Roanoke, Charlottesville don't quite get the valuations of our properties. We see it time and time again. So when I saw that this Pearson was from, I think, the Richmond area or Norfolk area, raised some eyebrows. But the biggest concern I have is I just had 2 appraisals come back from Hans Hill within the last 90 days, and the new tax assessment is over appraised value. That is a huge red flag. So you mentioned about the 2-year. I think the problem is timing. We are sucking on the timing. Our last reassessment was before COVID hit. The interest rates that were low pushed everybody, whether you wanted to buy a house, you bought a house. If you had 2 houses, you bought 3. That's what happened. The housing prices were still low. Now, fast forward 5-6 years ago, we are now eating that. And I understand it's sticker shock. Another point I want to say, there are programs for anybody 61 and older under a certain income limit. I noticed that really hasn't been brought up, but a lot of our elderly, a lot of people on fixed incomes are just on social media complaining, and I think we kind of need to let them know there are programs out there that will help them, and your house value does not mean your asset value is part of this to qualify for a decrease for real estate. The other issue I want to talk about is just how we need to get the word out, and we have lost our luster. Social media is a huge impact. I just talked to Jeff Bandy. And he is this tax assessor for Lynchburg City. When I called there, his secretary said, I live in Amherst County. Can you help me? My taxes have gone through the roof. And she works for Lynchburg City Tax Assessment Office. He said they do in-house assessment. I think we need to kind of look at doing in-house assessments. We're going to employ good old country Amherst, yes, Amherst County, so we can have assessments that we can not necessarily control, but they understand the area and they understand the housing values. So those are my 2 recommendations, and anything you need, thank you. But the real estate market has taken a dip since January. We're not in the same market we were, and you'll see that there are local realtors here that have built several houses. They've sold 1. They're sitting still. We're in the worst market in 10 years, and it needs to be reassessed versus January to December. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? The people standing outside, I think there are some empty chairs now, if you'd like to come in and sit. No, okay. All right, next. There you, gentleman, right, blue shirt. Red hat. I got a blue shirt and a hat on. Oh, I thought the gentleman with the beard, I thought you raised your hand, excuse me. Okay, you're up.
I'm John D. Bottoms. I'm not sure who my supervisor is. I think it's Chris Adams. So hi, never met you before. I was planning on talking about one thing, and I found another one. On the car tax, you had J.D. Power do the assessments. J.D. Power is an influencer group. J.D. Power is not in the car business. They're not Kelly Blue Book. They're not NADA. They're not Edwards. And if you go quick shot on the internet here, they provide independent ratings and benchmarks for product and service quality, customer satisfaction, buyer behavior across various industries and blah, blah, and all that. Okay, they're in the automotive, financial services, healthcare, home, insurance, technology, media and telecom, travel and hospitality, senior living, and utilities. Next page. How does J.D. Power get paid? They sell the corporate data to competitors in the field. Think about that one for a minute. That would be a data breach. What hemisphere did that go to? That is their stated business model. This has gone to another hemisphere. Every vehicle identification number from Amherst County, all your names to go with it. I assume the taxpayer number, which is a social security number. Okay, that bell can't be unrung. What hemisphere do you think that's with? And you need to check into this. I have no idea what you would do with this. But every single number that you sent in, and I assume that that's every car in Amherst County with every owner and with your taxpayer ID, is out of here. And it's probably worldwide twice by now. Like I say, good luck unringing that bell. And I have a question for you. Why has, with the bypass, well, I'm skipping here a little bit, but I noticed what I think is the root problem on this tax is you depend, according to your website and your pie chart, you depend 51% on the revenue for the county to run
Got 30
on
seconds, sir.
property tax, and you depend on real estate tax, and that is skewed. Why hasn't the bypass land been developed? You've got a couple miles on both sides of raw land there. There isn't a gas station between 151 and 460. That's 20 miles of nothing. All those people are going to Campbell County below the airport. All that's being developed. You could put a Wawa, Sheetz, whatever. They have, I feel like you need to develop more resources for this county because taxes work when taxes are shared.
Sir, your time is up.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your comments. Thank you. Next. Yes, sir.
My name is Robert Richards. I'm here to talk a little bit about your personal property tax on your vehicles. As you're well aware, 45 days ago, you all were notified about what I am talking about. Along with that, there's a $25 fee, which is, no one has an idea what it is for. I've been looking into this. I'm assuming you all have been looking into it also. What we found out so far, we are being charged $25 licensing fee every time we pay personal property tax on our vehicles. I asked the question, what is it for? I cannot get a straight answer from anybody. I talked to the Commissioner of Revenue. I talked to several different people into it. No one knows exactly what the license fee is for. The last information I got from the Commissioner of Revenue is 20 years ago. She still not can find out what specifically is for. She says after the 5th of this month, she'll have more time. She'll look into it. She may have to go back 30 to 40 years to find out what it's for. Why have we been charged $25 every year for something you don't know what it's for? How have you authorized it to go on for 30 to 40 years when no one knows what it's for? What's the money been used for? Why are we still being charged? Is that statute outdated? Are we going to get reimbursed for something that we shouldn't have been paying for? These are questions I need to be answers for. So far, no one has spoke up. No one gives me no answers. No one I spoke to knows exactly what the license fee was for or how it come about. I'm assuming no one here on the board can answer the question either. But the citizens out here need the right to know what are we paying for and what else is being charged the same way that you really don't know what you're being charged for. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak? Whew-wee. All right, the gentleman in the olive shirt over here. But, I'm sorry. What'd you say? Oh, I'll let him get past me. Who in the middle is raising their hand? Because you're blocked.
Ms. Pryor.
Here, right here. Okay, not yet, Ms. Pryor, you're next, okay?
My name is Kenneth Lovell. Chris is my district supervisor, and anyway, and Leah's my wife. He probably knows Leah. She's way more active than I am. But anyway, I did an appointment yesterday with Will, and he looked through my stuff and actually made some changes, and will be reducing my property tax. I say that because this looks like a big crowd, but if you think about everybody got an assessment, this is nothing, folks. So you need to show up to the meetings. These guys need to work on the taxes, cut the percentage coming down. The other thing is just to let you know, Zillow and Realtor.com, which is slated back here, mentioned both of those, appraised my property. One is now $15,000 lower than the county assessment, and the other is $12,000 lower. And they've always been way higher. So something is not right. So anyway, you just need to know that, folks. So, and I know all of you the same way, but if a simple person can look on Zillow and look his house up, and I came here and I gave the guy 3 or 4 in my neighborhood, and he understood. But I hope that everybody in the county would make a meeting and get your taxes adjusted, folks. But I really hope y'all take care of that in late winter or early spring. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, Ms. Pryor.
Chris, I think you're mine. I'm just going to make this brief. I really wanted to say, Steve and I went to get 4 pieces of property appraised, and we couldn't have had more respect, more efficiency, and concern by the people that we dealt with. So I guess what I'm trying to say, these are appraisals, and that maybe people need to make those important meetings, take your paperwork, have your numbers, which we did. We also had 2 pieces of property that have houses on. We were like everybody else. Well, they never came here. They actually had photos of the one house and our no trespassing sign on the other one. So, you know, I understand everybody's angry. I've heard some horrific numbers. Ours were bad enough, but nothing like some of y'all's. And the other thing that, in doing the research for this, that what really has making me, people need to, the man said we need to educate ourselves. When you go online now, under Elon Musk, if you have $100, you can invest in land. You don't have to own land. You can make the profits off of somebody else's land. And what they're doing, these big real estate corporations are buying land up and holding it so that people are not able to buy a home or to buy the land. So we need to be looking at a bigger picture. But our experience, Steve and I were well pleased with the way we were treated. So I'm not going to growl at y'all. I'm going to say thank y'all for, you know what I mean? Now, because I know you work hard, and I don't agree with y'all on a lot of things, but I know you do work hard. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pryor. That was very nice. We appreciate it. Next. Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Mark Labadie. I live in the Temperance District of Amherst County. Claudia Tucker is my representative. This is the first time that I'm going to speak about a matter that I'm going to speak about often, so realize I'll be back. 20 years, or actually 18 years ago, 2007, 2008, we experienced a situation very similar to this. At that time, the board was trying to micromanage our properties. I didn't like it, to be quite frank with you, and I created a group called Concerned Citizens of Amherst County. We approached you with a little bit of volatility to make sure you understood our plight. And I'm going to reestablish that Concerned Citizens group now. And another thing that I want to bring to your attention is we're dealing with a situation here where statistically in the last 12 months, the foreclosure rate in America has increased 32%. And that's just outrageous. It's a systemic failure based on overload of government on the backs of the citizens, and we're tired of it. I'll be back. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Laverty, thank you. Next. Yes, right here.
My name's Barry Thompson. I live on Wallace Ferry Road. Wasn't gonna say a whole lot, but when you said that we're all in this together, meaning the board, and that your assessment was 80%, are you gonna contest it?
I said mine was 86%.
80, okay, I'm in the ballpark
Yeah.
anyway. Are you gonna contest it?
We haven't, that's between my husband and I, we have not decided yet.
Okay, well, I just wanna know, where the rest of us are.
He has a vote too.
All right. I really wasn't going to say a whole lot, but I have a couple of other things. Only later this morning did I find out how to access the reassessed values online. So what I did is, just had a few minutes to do it, is I took the first 13 properties on Wallace Ferry Road, that starts at South Main Street and comes up to my house, which would be the 13th one, and looking at what the assessments were. The lowest one was 42, and the highest one was 97. The average was 64. Now, I'm going to do the whole neighborhood because we've got 58 properties up there. Back in the 2020 reassessment, the average increase was 5.1% for those 51 properties. So actually, the thing that happened back then is the structures were up 10.5%, but the properties on every one of them were down. So they reassessed the property value, and they were down 13%. But anyway, at that time, mine was a little above that. Mine was slightly above it. But where I'm at now is I'm 50% with this most recent one, which I thought was high. But then when I got to looking at the sucker, I wouldn't take that for my house. So anyway, that's where we are. A couple thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else wishing to speak? Yes, sir, guy in the silver hat.
My name's Jeff Breeden. I live on Higginbotham Creek. I don't know which one of you critters am I.
That's okay, go ahead.
Who's the supervisor for Higginbotham Creek? You? Tom Martin.
This fellow right here.
Are you Tom Martin?
Yes.
All right. Anyway, I live on Higginbotham Creek, and mine went up 67%. And, I wasn't mad, but I'm a little upset because we don't even have water. I mean, I have a well. I had 2 wells when I bought the property in 2017. One of them went dry. The other one went dry. I had to pay out $7,000 to build a road and have it fractured to get water that's not even really drinkable. We use it for utilities. And we have to haul water because of our income from Beck Creek Road. Because I can't afford to go to Walmart and buy water. We're both on a fixed income, me and my wife. And that's the deal. And raising income's it is sticker shock. I'm not saying my house ain't worth what it went up to, because it's probably worth a little more. But, that's going forward, to do these reassessments, they need to be done sooner, not 6 years, is what I'm saying. And you need to address the situation as on Higginbottom Creek, on the water situation, maybe like seeing why we don't have public water. I mean, it's on each end of the road, but it's not going up our road. I don't understand the thinking behind that. I can't wrap my finger around it. I've called a couple times to public services, and they just give you a runaround. They won't want to talk to you about it. And I want to, and this, I'm gonna hammer this from now on. I'm gonna go talk road, house to every house on my road and see who's interested and get a petition up and do this the right way. I think. I don't know if that's what it takes to get y'all to figure out why we don't have public water on Higginbottom Creek Road. Like we don't pay taxes, I know better. That's all I gotta say. Come on now. Let's get with the program here.
All right, thank you for your comments. Anyone else wishing to speak? Mr. Bryant?
Madam Chair, Board, Sam Bryant, District 1, Tom Martin. I think I'm just like everyone else that got the sticker shock. If you hustle and work 2 or 3 jobs for 40 years, you might have more than one piece of property. Those percentages add up. So as I get older, I know that my income will not be as high as it is, and I'll have a decision to make. So I went through this once before with the county in 2007 or 2008, and there was a very good recommendation for the land use tax, and I did that. Guess what now? I have an expensive tractor, and I get to manage some timber, and I get to help make some hay, and I have a little garden, and do different things for that. So I want people to know that there is a tax relief program. It's called land use tax. Please look into that. Hopefully the people that you meet with will tell you about that. My appointment is Thursday. I'm going to appeal it and see where I go with it. And then if not, guys like me are forced to do a conservation easement, and I would express interest in that for people to look at that. That will help you. Mr. Bryant knows a whole lot about conservation easements. I've learned a whole lot, but the bottom line with that is the county doesn't get any taxes from that. So something you got to think about if you want to give kind of your say-so about your land to a bigger program. But thanks for the hard work that you do. I know that it's sometimes a selfless job where you do have individual interest in the county and things that you do, but you have to face people like me or other people that are mad and come in this room. So have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bryant. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak? Anyone out in the hallway wishing to speak? Mr. Mason Cup?
Hello, I'm Bill Mason Cup. I live in your district, and I got the reports and everything and did have my meeting with them. And just wanted to share that if you did not talk to them when they came out to do the reassessment, they snapped a picture, left, assumed your house had a perfect roof, perfect deck, everything was immaculate, and that's what they told me they had based their assessments on. So if you have a porch that's got bad flooring or something else like that, they did knock money off for that. Now, I do have some rental properties, and they might not be as pristine as my house that I live in, but they're livable and well rentable and so forth and so on. But I just wanted to express that, you know, it's the way they did this reassessment, it's up to the individual homeowners to let them know that your house is not perfect. And they said they were making changes to different things, which we'll see. They said it wouldn't get done till after Christmas, but the paperwork, right now they're fielding complaints. So that's all I can tell you is make your appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Mason Cup. Yes, right here. Yep.
Good afternoon. Gloria Witt, 432 Browntown Road. Lot of angst about the cost of the assessment, and what I'm hearing and what I want to express is this. I just Googled how many homeowners are in Amherst County. It told me somewhere around 31,000 people own homes in Amherst County. 31,000, what did it call it? Population,
Right,
excuse me.
right.
This is 2023, 78.4 occupied housing units. So that's about 24,000. I don't know how many actual homeowners, but I do know that the people in this room is just a smidgen of the impact of this assessment deal. And it seems to be a pattern that most of them are way over the reassessment value. So we got a pickle. Who gets to decide to level out and just come up with a different number? Because it's a lot of people in Amherst County that are voiceless to this issue. They're just looking at the sticker shock, and who's going to take care of the voiceless? This is a huge problem, systematic across the county, with just a drop in a bucket of people that showed up today. And so everybody that don't make an appointment and don't talk to the guy to negotiate a decrease, it seems like if you show up, you decrease your price. Who's dealing with the voiceless? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Witt. Is there anyone else here wishing to speak? I'm getting ready to close it in just a second. If you change your mind, now's the time. All right, then we are now going to close the public comment section, and I'm going to say a couple things. One, thank you all. Thank you very, very much. This is the way the public and the government should interact. You all were civil, we listened, and again, I thank you for that very much. And the other thing is there was a lot of good ideas that were thrown out here today, and we appreciate that, and we will certainly take those to heart. One of the things that I heard is, you all think that communications need to be improved, and I think in all areas communications need to be improved, and we will certainly work on that. Board members, anything y'all want to say?
No, I think, Ms. Tucker, if you don't mind, just to write off of your comments, just for the public to know, because it's really hard, and that's one thing we try to promote. I feel like we try very hard to promote is transparency of government, right? With this day and time, obviously, we know we have an aging population in Amherst County that, as Ms. Witt so noted a moment ago, that may not have the ability to come out and set up meeting appointments and see what we conduct in here. But I have always said, since I've been involved in government in any way, shape, or form, that we struggle with the citizen in Amherst County or any locality. We usually don't see them until they're personally impacted in some way, shape, or form. Right? Much the reason that each of you are here today. Where me personally, I would love to see this room this full at every board meeting, because you know why? This is how we educate the general public. Because a lot of times we come up here 2 times a month. We have seen the social media blitz, as Ms. Tucker commented on earlier. We have taken the bashing, and that's fine. That's why we're in the positions we're in, and we can take that on. But the thing is I would ask the folks to educate yourselves with the appropriate information. Don't create conspiracy theories. Don't create the information that's not correct. We want you to have the right information. Trust me. That's the only way we're going to move forward in any forward progress. So, again, I respect everybody being here today. I ask you to stay involved in government. Right? There's so many different variables in government that we want you to be involved in to understand what the process is each and every day that our county staff has to endure. We're only here a short period of time, right? These are the guys and gals that take it on a daily basis that have a very difficult job to provide the services to you guys as citizens. So again, I just want to reiterate, thank you for coming out. Continue to educate yourself, and I'm speaking for myself. I'm not going to speak for the other board members. If it's anybody that's in my district or not in my district, if it's anything I can help you with, I'll help you in any way I can to help clear up any communication. Thank you.
Board members, anyone else want to speak? Yes, Mr. Martin.
First, Mr. Bryant, could you get the gentleman's name and address on Hickenbotham Creek, please, about the water? Guys, I've followed the social media stuff, okay? I'm going to be the first one to tell you I am not going to engage you on social media. If you want to talk to me, email me or call me. I'll be happy to do that. The value of my property went up, not as much as some of you. I think it went up 56%, okay? Would I sell it for what they assessed it at? Probably not, okay? a lot of you came in today and said, our taxes have gone up. That is absolutely not the case. Your assessments went up, okay? Give this board a chance to look at the budget for next year and determine what the correct tax rate needs to be, whether it's equalization or a penny or two more. If this board sat up here, okay, and left the tax rate at 61 cents when your assessments went up 50%, 60%, 70%, 700%, whatever, I wouldn't vote for me either, okay? And you shouldn't. But there's a process that this board has to go through, okay? Your assessments went up. I encourage you to go through the process, appeal it as you feel necessary. Ms. Witt, I understand what you're saying, right? We need to make sure we've put stuff out on the internet, this and that, about how to do it. My understanding is that the deadline to register for an appointment is December 10th, but they will stay as long as necessary, okay? So just because you don't get in by December 10th doesn't mean that they won't still talk to you. But please remember, we're not going to increase your taxes by 80% or 60% or whatever it is. Give us the opportunity to look at the budget, to discuss the tax rate. We haven't even got there yet. We haven't seen the numbers from the staff yet. I know they've started putting the budget together. We haven't seen it yet, okay? So take a deep breath. We will all get through this together. And if you need to talk to me individually, I'm happy to do it by phone or email. All right? Thank you. Ms. Tucker.
Mr. Wade, Mr. Pugh?
Yeah, I'll just echo what Mr. Martin said. Appreciate all y'all coming out. So this is, as Mr. Adams said, this is how it should be. To Mr. Martin's point, this is just an assessment. Yep, your values went up, mine went up. But to his point, this is not the tax rate. That'll be addressed during the budget season. So if hopefully everybody will come out, everybody that's here will come out, those discussions will probably be springtime. So I look forward to seeing all y'all there next year. I'll be watching from YouTube. Thank you.
Yeah, just quickly, I think Mr. Martin hit the nail on the head regarding the tax rate and what your actual total tax bill will be. That's yet to be determined. One of the issues that we discussed is how often we do these reassessments. Well, it costs the county $600,000 to do a reassessment. So I guess prior boards have decided over time that 6 years puts that out at a longer basis, and that kind of holds us so we don't have to bring in more revenue in order to fund these things, so we can space it out. I understand, and we're gonna have this discussion of how we should do that, whether we should do it semi-annually, every 3 years, what have you. We're gonna have that discussion. But I think that was one of the reasons it's done every 6 years, and I heard a lady tonight, I think it was Miss Thomas, talk about sometimes you catch these things at exactly the wrong time. This year is the wrong time. It seems like the market is slowing down, and its very peak is when this caught the value of the properties. So, and then a few years back, we had a dip in the market, and we caught it at the lowest point. So there's been a lot of increase over the last few years. But I mean, they've all went up. Like Tom said, we can, if you equalize, that means the budget would be the exact same as last year. We'd bring in the exact same money unless there's, new housing or more sales tax. So that discussion will be had, but I do appreciate everybody coming out here tonight and being civil. And like Mr. Martin said, if you have any questions, give us a call. We'll try to do our best to answer your questions.
Thank you. And the board also wants to thank WSCT for being here. A lot of people will see this on the news. Hopefully, it will make people start asking questions. We want to thank Lynchburg News in advance and also the Amherst New Era Progress. Thank you, Mr. Faulkner. We appreciate y'all. All right, moving on. Consent agenda. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
All right, motion on the floor. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Consent agenda is approved. We'll move on to ordinance 2025-7, home occupations. Mr. Creasy. And for anybody who's interested, we also have a public comment at the end of this meeting.
Madam Chair, Board, good to see you all today. As you've indicated, you all are conducting a first read regarding proposed changes to the county's home occupation regulations. The Amherst County Planning Commission held a workshop on October 30th, 2025 and discussed changes to the county's home occupation regulations. These changes were then put into an ordinance form, which can be found within your packet. A little bit of a backstory about how this got here. An individual approached the Office of Community Development to set up a hair gallery shop at her house by appointment only. The way our current home occupation regulations read for residential districts is that you can have no employees or no customers come to your property. In staff's opinion, I would say Amherst County has one of the more stringent home occupation ordinances within our surrounding area, which would include Appomattox, Campbell County, City of Lynchburg, Bedford, and Nelson. So therefore, that's the reason we held this workshop. In addition to the Planning Commission, our Economic Development Authority also had a member present at that meeting, as well as the first public hearing with the commission. I'm not going to read verbatim every word from the proposed ordinance change. However, I would like to go over a few main points. The first few pages of the ordinance that you see before you are really the permitted uses that can be found within our residential in certain districts. And we struck language that indicates so long as home occupations are permitted, so long as the following criteria are met. No outside storage, no signage, no employees or customers may come to the property, no increase in neighborhood traffic or change in the traffic may occur. That has been stricken from our residential areas to read that are in accordance with section 905. And that will lead me into really the bulk of the ordinance change that is before you. The first major change is to the intent statement, in which this provides more clarity for staff as well as your citizens, indicating what type of home occupations may be allowed. I'll just read a few. Professional offices for certified, ordained, licensed, or registered professions, such as architects, draftsmen, attorney at law. This also would include massage therapists, physicians, artists, craftsmen, and things of that nature. Moving on to the general requirements for home occupations, this is where a majority of the changes are happening. The first is to item number 2, in which there's a proposed change that no more than one non-resident person hired for the performance of off-premise services rendered by the home occupation may come to or park at the premise at any one time. As it currently stands, no one working for let's say you've got a home occupation for a long care business and it's you and your buddy doing that job, you would have to meet John Smith out on site. This proposed change would allow John Smith to come to that house, park his car there, and leave in a company vehicle. The next change is point 5, in which indicates there shall be no goods or products associated with the home occupation placed outside the home that are advertised for sale. Number 6 is that the home occupation shall be limited to visiting clients on an appointment basis and shall not offer services to the general public on a drop-by basis. This is to help curb the traffic that may occur in residential areas, to ensure that if you were to have a one hair gallery shop or a massage therapist, they're on an appointment basis and you don't have a bunch of cars being backed up on residential neighborhoods. The next change is that not provide services on premise to more than one client at a time for professions listed in that intent statement. That kind of goes along with item number 6 that I just read. Number 8 is that no advertising through local media, social media flyers, or similar forms of advertisement shall call attention to the residential address of the home occupation. Item 9 indicates not have any outside storage of goods or equipment other than one business vehicle and one trailer per lot, providing said trailer is located behind the building line of the main structure on the property and is not over 20 feet in length. The trailer may not exceed a height than 8 feet 9 inches. And number 10, the last one under general requirements, is that no activity in conjunction with a home occupation shall be conducted before 7 a.m. or after 10 p.m. that adversely impacts or disturbs adjoining property owners. So for example, if it was a draftsman that's drawing up building plans, them working on their computer would not adversely affect the general public, so they could of course work before 7 a.m. or after 10 p.m. And then the last 2 changes are regarding the size of a home occupation. As it currently reads, home occupations within the main dwelling shall not occupy more than 25% or 500 square feet, whichever is smaller, of the floor area within the main building. The commission has proposed to you all that the home occupation within a main dwelling shall not occupy more than 40% or 1,000 square feet, whichever is smaller, of the floor area within a main building. And the second special requirement is regarding if it's located in an accessory structure such as a garage. Our current ordinance does not allow for that accessory structure. The home occupation cannot take up more than 1/3 of that accessory structure, and the proposed change indicates that it can't take up more than 1/2 the area size of the main dwelling. So a little bit of an increase there. I would like to note that when going through this workshop, staff took the home occupation regulations from Campbell County, Bedford, City of Lynchburg, Nelson County to write this ordinance. We're not creating anything from scratch. We kind of got a mix of both to what we believe would be conformance for Amherst County and its citizens. And at this time, do you have any questions for staff?
Board members? Yes, Mr. Wade.
Just one question. Under 90502, number 7, not provide services on premises to more than one client at a time for the list of professions. Why did we go with just one client at a time?
Yeah, that's a great question. That was kind of conformance to surrounding localities, as well as kind of going back to, we're not trying to change the neighborhood traffic, nor have people build up, such as example for the reassessments. You've got quite a few people lined up. Yes, they're on an appointment basis, but we don't want to increase that increase of traffic in our residential neighborhoods. So that's why it's at 1, or what was proposed.
I would just recommend bumping that up, maybe 2 or 3. I think 1's a little too restrictive personally, but that's just me.
Mr. Martin?
Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Mr. Wade, but, you know, the home-based occupation is not supposed to be the primary land use that's going on there, which is the reason for limiting the amount of clientele you can have there at a given time. My question is more for our county attorney, who I'm glad has not left yet, is number 8 is talking about the advertisement shall basically not calling attention to the residential address of the home occupation on social media, this and that. You don't have to give it to me now, but I'd like your legal opinion on that, is if that's really legal for us to do that. I understand we can regulate signage on the property and this and that, but can we really regulate what they put on social media through a land use ordinance? And
my gut reaction without doing any research on it would be no.
I agree. So could we look at that?
Yeah, the social media aspect, that's an individual choice they get to make. That's not something that we can regulate.
I mean, if that leads to them violating other parts of the ordinance, so be it, but I'm not
Understood.
sure that that's really appropriate. So if y'all could look into that, I'd appreciate it.
Anyone else have anything to say? I've got one question, also along the same vein. So what is a client? So this is probably for the county attorney. So if Tucker Family Farms wants to go to Mr. Martin's law office, which is at Mr. Martin's house, and Tucker Family Farms goes in there with 5 people because there's 5 employees and us, and we want to talk about something, is that a violation?
That would be one client.
One client.
Still a client.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how many
Okay,
people,
that-
as long as they're
that was
all
the answer
part
I was
of one
hoping for.
client. Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
thank you. Board members, any other questions?
Well, Madam Chair, if I may, going back to, I understand Mr. Martin's perspective and definitely the traffic issue, but if you look at number 9 for permitted uses under barbershops or beauty parlors, neither of which I use for the record.
It shows.
I'm tight. I buy my own clippers at Walmart. Thank you. But if and I don't want to get too deep in the weeds on this, but you take a beauty parlor where some of these women when they may be serving 2 or 3 clients at one time during different processes. Don't ask me how I know this, but I want to make sure that we don't pigeonhole ourselves in some way you know, on some of these permitted uses in a residential structure.
So, I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. I think we also need to be very careful. I know somebody's going to turn my words around on me, but we need to be careful about not rezoning residential areas to commercial use without the due process of the land use public hearings.
Sure.
Which is what you could potentially be doing here if you loosen it up to 2, 3, 4 chairs. You're basically creating a commercial zone, right?
Right.
So I think that's.
I see what you're saying.
And to that point, Mr. Adams, that number 9 and 10 is for our residential mixed-use district.
Yes, sir.
Which is Old Town Madison Heights.
Right.
Which is, I would say it's similar to our mixed-use traditional neighborhood, which allows a bunch of uses already. So that's been there for quite some time. That district is created to kind of create that synergy, that close network type of zoning to where you've got houses and businesses already there. And that is the only location where that district is currently in the county, is Old Town Madison Heights.
Would that also apply to the village district, the village districting as well?
Yeah,
Tyler?
the village district, you can also have that as well.
Okay.
But you can also have single-family dwellings by right in the village district too.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you, sir.
Any further questions? Is there a motion?
We're just moving it forward, correct?
Right.
Yes,
It's in your,
first
in your packet.
I move to direct staff to advertise ordinance 2025-7 for public hearing at the board's December 16th, 2025 meeting.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, Mr. Creasy. All right, next we've got a special presentation, the IT strategic plan, and Randy Grubb. Welcome.
I'll just use the keyboard.
Thank you for having me today. So today I'm here to present the IT strategic plan that was requested by the board. I'm Randy Grubb. I'm Chief Technologist with Virtual IT. I've been working with the county over the past couple of months to put this strategic plan together, and so I'm happy to be here to present it to you today. The goal of a strategic technology plan is to ensure that the technology growth for the county is managed effectively. It's focused on minimizing the risk of technology, ensuring technology is aligned to support strategies of Amherst County, to provide a blueprint for technology. Just as you, if you're building a building, you have a blueprint, you need the same thing for technology for the next 3 years. And then the other thing that this plan represents is it reflects industry best practices and really focuses to enable today's local governments to better serve the constituents of Amherst County. One of the things that we do is we work with a lot of different localities in the state of Virginia and other states. This is probably about the 60th strategic plan that I've done in my career. So we feel like we are pretty plugged into local government, especially in the state of Virginia. This is just a quick overview of the process. We focused on 4 phases of this plan. We went through a discovery phase, a SWOT assessment phase, a strategy recommendation phase, and then a transition planning phase. And it focused on a lot of different areas. It focused on infrastructure, it focused on policy, it focused on people. All the departments in the county were interviewed as a part of this process so that we can understand the needs of those departments as it relates to technology. And then that really went through these 4 phases of the process. One of the things that we did is in looking at the current state of technology, you pretty much have to know where you are to be able to plan what you need to do to go forward. And one of the things that we did is we surveyed all the departments as far as their perception of where Amherst County's technology environment stood. Overall, there was a couple of things that came out of that. One is that some of the external web services that provide services to citizens needed improvement. So that this plan is going to focus on that moving forward. The other thing that came out of this is that departments felt that overall Amherst County's technology, both the technology used to provide services to citizens as well as internal technology, was average when compared to the world we live in and other localities. And then one area that was really noted as an area that needed some improvement was the support of applications in the county and technology in the county. IT does a great job of supporting infrastructure, things like the networks, internet connectivity, the computers, the servers, but there was a gap as far as the support that's provided to the applications that people in the county use, as well as taking those applications that citizens use to the next level and providing more functionality for those, for the citizens. So that was an area that was noted as needing improvement. We also evaluated the county's current state of technology just from an industry best practices perspective. You know, our perspective sets the bar very high as far as, you know, what we feel like local governments need to provide as far as technology services to citizens as well as internal technology. There was a couple of different things that we noted from our evaluation. One, we tended to agree with departments that Amherst County really lands in the average area as compared to other high-performing organizations. And the goal of this plan is to really move that needle, because average is really not where we need to be in Amherst County. You know, we need to be certainly to the right side of that. We need to be above average and pushing that needle toward a very high-performing organization. One thing we did note is Amherst County has a lot of the key ingredients to be able to move that needle, and this plan really leverages a lot of those key ingredients, be it people or be it technology, to be able to improve this measurement and move the county to the next level. One area that we noted as really having the greatest opportunity, which, you know, it's going to mean the most to the people in this room, is being able to provide technology that can better serve the citizens. There are a number of things that are going on already or that we feel like need to happen that are a part of this. One is the implementation of a new tax billing platform or software that will provide citizens with the ability to gain access to information, as well as to being able to interact with the county more electronically and be able to do things like pay your taxes online in a very effective way. Another item which is key, and you know, I heard communication mentioned here today being important. The county's website is probably below average as far as its communication ability compared to the current world we live in. And so one of the things that we feel like is an opportunity is to improve that. Also, I heard the mention of GIS here today and the county's reliance on that for a lot of things. There are improvements in that area that I think are critical for the county to make going forward. And then another item which directly impacts everybody in this room is a piece of software called computer-aided dispatch, which allows our public safety folks to be able to respond to citizen calls when they call 911 and be able to respond to those calls effectively, efficiently, and in a timely manner. And so all of those areas are areas of opportunity that were noted as a part of this plan. A couple of other areas that are really foundational. One is policy as it relates to technology. That is an area that certainly Amherst's policies are a little bit behind other localities and kind of the industry best practice, so we're going to be recommending changes there. The IT department does a great job supporting what they do, but there were some gaps in that area, and we have some recommendations to close those gaps. One of the items from a risk perspective is the lack of a disaster resilience strategy, and we feel like that is critical for Amherst County to be able to ensure availability of technology services, both internal and to the citizens. The next section talks about some strategies and recommendations that fall into these areas: technology governance, infrastructure, application of government services, the technology organization, and then information security and risk management. I will mention that the recommendations that are before you today are not all of the recommendations that are in the plan. These are the ones of most significance. So there are a number that are not highlighted here today. Those will be available for you to review when you review the full plan. The first item there is to develop and adopt a technology governance and portfolio management policy. This basically dictates how technology is brought into the county or how it is retired out of the county. That is extremely important, and it also affects the investment in technology and how the county manages that investment. Centralizing the budget for technology, once again, that is part of that governance process as well. Right now, today, the budget is somewhat decentralized, and we feel like it needs to be centralized into a single budget. And then to implement a consolidated acceptable use policy, which would be part of employee onboarding, training, and then be reviewed yearly by employees. The next section focuses on infrastructure. The first item is to implement fire suppression in the buildings that house technology. Today, there is no fire suppression, and so a fire event would have a unpleasant result. Implement document imaging and management. Right now, the county is very paper heavy, and there is a lot of important documents that are subject to risk because of that. And so a system that can digitize a lot of those documents, we feel is something that is important. One of the things that is an ongoing cost to the county is technology replacement. And this is infrastructure like the switches and the routers and the other infrastructure that allow our computers to talk to one another, as well as the infrastructure that supports public safety, so that when a citizen dials 911, somebody picks up the phone. Right now today, if you're a citizen and you go to Amherst website, you'll notice that it's a .com website, not a .gov website. We're recommending that Amherst move to the norm as it relates to local government to a .gov domain. Evaluating and upgrading internet connectivity, there is enormous opportunity there, which will allow better connectivity to the internet, both from inside the network as far as outside, as well as outside. Improving AV capabilities. Once again, that kind of speaks to the need to, provide citizens with the ability to interact with the board and have effective communication. The communication and the AV infrastructure in here is probably a little below average. And its reach to the outside world for citizens that can't show up here is below average. And so we're recommending that be improved. And then there are also a number of remote sites in the county that are underserved as far as connectivity to those rural sites. And so we're recommending that those county sites that provide citizen services be upgraded to have more effective internet connectivity. I mentioned a little this before, but one of the areas that we feel it's very exciting with this plan, because this plan this plan has a direct positive impact to the citizens of Amherst County. And so, you know, the money that goes into this plan, the citizens will see the benefit of a number of things that are done as a result of this plan. One is completing the upgrade to a contemporary finance and tax billing platform. The primary citizen impact from that is it allows citizens to interact more effectively with Amherst County's government when it comes to those items. Implementing strategies to enhance GIS capabilities. I heard a number of people talk about, you know, they relied on GIS to get information from their reassessment process. A lot of people don't realize what GIS really does, and you know, GIS is also at the heart of public safety response. And so GIS is something that is foundational for the county, and so there is a number of things that need to be upgraded there. Moving to a more contemporary web platform, the public website, and enhancing the channels of communication that are available through that site, as well as other channels to the public. Implementing an integrated Parks and Rec management platform. Once again, that would be a platform that would allow citizens to interact with Parks and Rec and the services that they provide. And then once again, to replace the computer-aided dispatch system, which is the system that the 911 center relies on to dispatch emergency calls. The technology organization, I know we all live in an era of AI, and you know, we think AI is going to replace the people. We really don't share that opinion. To that point, there are a couple of roles that we feel like are needed in the IT organization that are absent today. One is an IT application specialist role, which will allow the county to more effectively support these applications that we're talking about. Another is the role of integration specialist public safety, which will be a critical role as the county moves toward implementing a new CAD system, a computer-aided dispatch system, as well as supporting the existing public safety technology. And then a GIS analyst role, which goes hand in hand with the upgrades that need to occur to the GIS platform for the county. Another item is to refactor the role of the IT security manager and essentially put more responsibility on that role to protect the county against the threats that are present in the world today. And then to update position descriptions to align with industry best practice when it comes to the positions in IT. And this just highlights those three positions, which those are new positions, and they do not exist today. And that is a noted gap in the IT organization in Amherst County. In the area of information security and risk management, the first item there is to develop a documented disaster resilience strategy and operations plan so that if there is a catastrophic event, then the technology needed to support the citizen services or the internal services of the county can continue to operate. And the second item there is to develop a cyber risk management plan. Unfortunately, that's something that we need in place in today's world because it's not a matter of if a cyber security event will happen, it's a matter of when. And that plan will help the county respond more effectively to that type of situation. This is a 3-year transition plan as far as implementing the items we've mentioned. And ultimately, over 3 years, the technology investment that comes from this plan is approximately $1 million in capital over the next 3 years. A lot of that is focused on replacing infrastructure that is either at or near its end of life. And so that's primarily where those capital dollars are. And then there is also an increase in operating expenses over that same time A lot of that relates to the people, and it relates to the software subscriptions to actually be able to fund these software platforms that we're recommending. And this is a highlight of the operating budget projection. Unfortunately, the Amherst is likely to see an increase in your IT operations budget over the next 3 years. Right now, Amherst's IT operations budget is below average from a local government perspective. This increase in the operations budget will fund the people, the process, the technology that I have mentioned in this plan, and it will align Amherst County more effectively with local governments of similar size in Virginia. As far as next steps, the ask here today is that the board accept this plan, this IT strategic plan that is put before you. And then the next step would be that the requests that are in this plan would feed into your overall budget process. At that point, then the plan would be adjusted accordingly to meet the funding that is put forth for this project. And then the rubber hits the road, and starting the new fiscal year, the plan implementation begins. Actually, it's going to begin before that, because there's a number of items that are actually mentioned that are have no cost to them. And so those items are already underway at this point. So I will pause at this point. I've done a lot of talking, and give you, the board an opportunity to ask any questions you may have.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Board member, yes, Mr. Martin.
So, thank you for the presentation. I participated in the surveys, and I believe we had a presentation on this once before, right? One thing that you said struck me, there's more stuff in this plan than just what you presented today, correct?
Correct.
Okay, that's the problem I have. Because the only thing we got was, please adopt this plan as presented. We didn't get a copy of the plan, right? You're asking us, you're asking me, I can't speak for you guys, you're asking me to adopt a plan that I have not had a chance to read, right? And I'm not going to do that at all. Believe it or not, I read everything that we're supposed to read. And so, I mean, it's not that I don't trust you. I agree with everything you've presented up here today, but I don't see how you can expect this board to adopt a plan that was not shared with us. And quite frankly, I don't think that should happen again, all right? So I would move that we table this until they can share the plan with us. That's just my opinion.
Mr. Wade, you had something?
Yeah, so I will actually second what Mr. Martin was saying there. So we would have liked to see this in advance. So I know there's a lot more detail behind this. I know keeping up with technology is a never-ending battle, so it's a necessary evil. So I appreciate what you have shared. I did have, well, and maybe it's in the plan, but you talked about application support and how there's a gap there. I'm not even going to go any further with that question, but I'm assuming the plan will dive into details as far as recommendations for addressing that going forward.
Correct. It's recommending a position, a new position that would deal with that issue.
But as far as approving it, I'd say probably would have had approval today if we'd have had it in advance.
So just a reminder that we did have a closed session because of the security implications that follow a plan like this. And so I did spend several hours going through the details of this plan. And so this was not the first time that that I shared some of this information with you all, but I couldn't agree more with you. I mean, there are a number of documents that that make up this plan, and if I was in your seat, I would want to read every one of them.
Thank you. That's all I got.
Mr. Pugh, Mr. Adams?
The only thing I would comment is, and we did get the detailed information in closed session, which was still a lot of information to absorb.
Yeah.
My question would be, obviously, that was done in closed session to protect the integrity of the county, for security reasons. Obviously.
Absolutely.
Is there anything that can be provided to us, Randy, in a text document that would not compromise the security of the county's infrastructure that we could have before us prior to the next meeting, to where we can absorb this again?
I can provide you, and I'm a security guy. I worked for the Department of Energy. I was responsible for the high security site down the road here as far as cybersecurity in that environment. So I'm very hesitant to provide any information that anyone can use to target the county. So what I can provide you in an open format would be it may not be in as much detail as you would really like to have, but I can certainly provide that.
Well, I get it, and I alluded to the fact that we had a presentation on it before, right?
Right.
I didn't say I hadn't seen it before, but you're asking us to adopt a document that's saying, hey, we're recommending you create 3, 4 new positions, right?
3.
3, okay. I don't know if it also says we should create 10 more, except what you're saying. Once we adopt it, we've adopted it. So, we sit up here and we talk about transparency, but you're asking us to adopt a document that they haven't even seen. I don't think it's right. So give us what you can that's not going to cause somebody to,
Hold Tom Martin hostage.
Nobody would want me. Hack our systems and all that. Withhold what needs to be withheld for security, but give us a plan that we can adopt. Don't just say adopt us and trust us.
Yeah, and my intent was to certainly provide you with that document that you can walk away with and review in more detail. Absolutely.
Maybe it's twofold. So I'd say maybe provide that document to us in an open forum, but maybe another closed session's needed to talk about the details one more time before we approve this.
Absolutely. More than happy to do that as many times as we need to, honestly. Yeah. This is a tough area right now. In the days of transparency in local government, this is a tough subject because, once again, there are people out there in this world that will take every opportunity they can to use information in an adversarial type of way. And unfortunately, the technology side of things is one of those areas. And so, once again, I will share with you. I'm not an expert when it comes to knowing what I can share and what I can't share in a public or closed forum. I'm going to let you and the county administrator guide me in that area. But I want to make available to you anything that you need to be able to support the county with this plan. And so I'm certainly committed to do that.
And if I came across harsh, I apologize. It's the second time today this has happened where staff said, please adopt this, and they didn't give us the information. It wasn't this body, another one. So I'd just like to be able to read it before I vote on it. So.
No. Once again, if I was in your seat, I'd want to read it too.
Ms. Tucker?
Yes, Mr. Pugh.
So, I read the motion. And Mr. Martin, you're talking about 3 new employees and all that. That gives me a lot of heartburn knowing their situation. But just because this is adopted, based upon budgetary constraints, parts of it may be adopted and may be implemented. Some of it might be scrapped totally, depending on our resources. Is that a correct statement? Okay.
That's But that's true of any plan we adopt.
Yeah, yeah. I
But any
understand.
plan that we get, we typically have an opportunity to
Oh,
read it.
yeah, I was just wanting to state.
Yeah, I mean, our Parks and Recs plan is our master plan is a prime example of that.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna complete it based on available funds.
Yeah, when we feel, if it's available or if we want to do it.
That's not what I'm
Okay.
even debating. I'm
No,
just-
I know, but you brought up the three, I was just making sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, we appreciate the comprehensiveness of this. We certainly do appreciate your sensitivity to our security and appreciate that, and thank you for that. I think that I couldn't do it, and I'm all for making sure that whatever we do from an IT perspective, number one, keeps us safe, but number two, is responsive to our citizens. Anything we can do there, I'm all on board. So, Mr. Martin, is it your desire, or do you think it's best to just table this for now and come back and direct staff to?
That was my motion to table until they could prepare us a
I
document.
didn't hear, did you make a motion?
I did.
Okay.
I think I did. If not, I'll make a motion, we table it until staff can provide us. the
Mr.
document.
Adams has a quizzical look.
No, I've just got questions, as far as timing goes. And this is more for Mr. Grubbs and maybe for Ms. Vire. Is there, as far as a timing standpoint, anything of any critical nature at the moment?
Well, the timing actually is really good because it feeds into your budget process. Because that's really one of the next steps with this, as you mentioned, with any plan, you all can decide I've basically made recommendations as to what should happen, when it should happen, and why it should happen.
Right.
And so it's up to you all to move forward with those items or not, and some of them take money, some of them don't. So the timing is good. It can't be put off too long because some of these things need to go into the budget process.
Well, you've got the document. I mean, can't you just bring it to us next meeting?
Well, that was my question, but that's what I was leading into, Mr. Martin.
Yeah.
Read it?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So, Mr. Bryant, I mean, if we can, I don't want to, I'm not one for procrastination with this stuff. If we can get the information and prepare it in whatever structure you and Mr. Grubbs and Ms. Vire feel like we need to do at the next meeting where we can get this thing going. So, but I'm in agreement with the motion of Mr. Martin's set forth.
All right, there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Martin. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
All right, next, we've got old business, the reassessment appropriation of funds. Mr. Bryan, are you going to carry that?
Yeah, it's on there. So during the budget process for FY '25, the reassessment CIP request split into 3 different fiscal years. We received $200,000 in FY '25, $200,000 in FY '26, which is this year. We're set to receive $200,000 in FY '26. The major financial impact for the reassessment falls now in this fiscal year. The cost doesn't change. The cost of the contract is $529,231. We're asking to move the FY '27 $200,000 to this year so that we can pay the contractor, the mailing charges, and the Board of Equalization fees. We would not be requesting any reassessment funds for FY '27. So again, the overall cost of this request doesn't change. We're just asking for the money to be moved from, and we won't ask for it in the upcoming budget, but to move it to this year's budget.
Okay, I get what you're doing, but the fiscal year '27 budget doesn't exist. It was a placeholder. So really what you're asking for is $200,000 out of the unobligated.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's just be clear.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
that's right.
Are there any questions?
Nope.
Is there a motion?
So moved.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. All right, next we have the Monument Committee. Mr. Bryant.
Yes, ma'am. The Board of Supervisors formed the Monument Committee in the fall of 2023 to make a recommendation on adding an interpretive sign near the monument at the courthouse. The board originally asked the committee to make a recommendation in May of 2024, but granted an extension until August of 2024. Since the formation of the committee, they made a field trip to Charlotte County to meet their committee members and to review their interpretive sign. Additionally, the committee went on a field trip to the University of Lynchburg to hear a talk titled Confederate Monuments. The committee also consulted with a history professor to discuss the topic and sought feedback. Generally, the committee met every 2 weeks to make a recommendation on the proposed language that would be found on the sign. In your agenda packet, there's an attached graphic that represents the recommendation from the Monument Committee.
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. So in looking at the recommended motion, there's two there. You did get the zoning ordinance by the town of Amherst. We're in the clear there? Okay. Board members, any questions?
Yes.
Yes,
So,
Mr. Martin.
For our, he's not here. Daggone.
Who are you looking for?
Mark. So my question is since this is not actually going to be going on the monument itself, does it rise to the level of contextualization where we have to have a public hearing? I would hope not, but something we need to check in.
That is a question that I would like to ask the county attorney.
My other question is, how much is this going to cost? I know what this recommended motion is, but I'd like to know how much it's going to
The
cost.
price quote we got for the sign that's included in your packet was a year ago, and it was around $5,500.
$5,500.
Correct.
Are there further questions?
No questions. I'll just go ahead and say my thoughts on it. While I appreciate the committee's hard work on coming up with this plaque, I do appreciate it. I think we've got to take this into account, given the context of the times it was built. It was built to honor those that fought during one of the worst moments in U.S. history. And that's exactly what it is. It's a piece of history. If we keep moving the target, given today's context, we're going to have plaques everywhere. Martin Luther King Bridge, you name it, plaques will be everywhere. So with that, I will not be supporting this, and I will make a motion that the board deny the recommendation of the Monument Committee. So.
Motion on the floor? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, no.
No.
Your motion fails. Okay, we'll go back again.
I make a motion that the board adopt the recommendation of the Monument Committee and shall be funded privately and would be placed beside the monument at the courthouse, similar to the attached mock-up, and shall.
Hold on.
Well, let me back up. So I never thought.
I meant David.
I
Mr.
never
P, excuse
thought
me.
it should go directly beside it. My discussion's all is that there was a grassy area, right, kind of facing the monument. We could put it there, we could put a bench. You're out there doing a lot of brickwork, you know, nice little paved area where people could sit, look at this and look at the monument and reflect and come up with whatever decisions they want to come up with about life, right? So I'm not 100% sold on doing this, that we're going to put it directly beside the monument, because I don't believe that's where it should go, all right? So you got anything else? How we can approve it, but not say that it's going to go there.
Do you want to specify a distance or a location?
Well, can you pull it up on the map? I'll show you exactly where I think it should go.
Mr. Pugh, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I was confused. Really, I was confused. You know, my initial reaction to this thing, I think it's a good way to look back on history and to see everybody has a different perspective on this. You know, some people have a perspective that it's, you know, they're proud of their ancestors fighting, whatever it was. You know, we can't go back in time and judge. I don't believe in blood guilt neither, where somebody's you're cast because somebody did something that blood guilt carries on going forward. I don't believe in that. I was under the impression, I don't know why, I talked with my board members, and I was under the impression that there was, that we would allow the plaque, but the plaque would be paid by private funds. But maybe I was misunderstood in all of that.
That's what the motion.
It's in there, Mr. Pugh. Yeah. It was some talk about removing that part, but the motion on the floor is to leave that in there. But that motion also failed.
You know, and I mean, I
never
could
got to make the motion.
I mean, I could support not to put it there. I could support to put it there. Basically, how do you come together with people that disagree on the history? You know, do you say, oh, I don't want it, and then the infighting just keeps on going and going and going, you know? Or do you say, you know, everybody deserves, all these people were involved in this situation. You know, some people suffered, all suffered. It doesn't matter what color you were because 600,000 Americans died fighting for it. So, and everybody has a different perspective. So I've just come to the conclusion it's better to go ahead and put this up and let everybody be happy about the outcome of the situation. You know, I haven't even went by there and looked at the Confederate monument. I know Lynchburg has a beautiful monument right down there in front of the old courthouse, and it's beautiful. The monuments down there in Richmond I thought were great works of art. They were very pretty. But so I may have misunderstood, you know, if I talked to Drew or Claudia earlier, maybe I was under the impression of something else, but my opinion is, you know, we can allow this to be had, but it should be paid for by private funds. And that's all I've got to say.
My only point is, where does it end?
Oh, there you are. So where is that little sidewalk going through? Is that new?
The sidewalk goes around.
Not that one, to the right.
That goes to the treasurer's
Yeah,
office.
that comes back around and
Oh,
loops.
I think it should go somewhere in that grass area facing the courthouse.
To the right of the monument?
To the right. Well,
Right here.
personally, the planner and me would kind of put it over, kind of catty-cornered with a bench where you could sit at that, look at the courthouse, look at the new plaque, look at the monument, and just take it all in place. But that's just me. But that's where I think it should go.
This area where I'm moving my mouse?
Right in there, yeah.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys, I'm a big symmetry person, and I just think you're gonna mess up symmetry if you put it like. Anyway, I think staff can work with them on a location in that general area. So I'd move that the board accept the recommendation of the Monument Committee.
Can I interrupt? Excuse me.
I'm never gonna get to make the motion.
You will.
I'm gonna let you make it.
I don't want to make it. I've got a question for, who's here from the Monument Committee? Okay. Y'all are fine with the raising of private funds, right?
That's the first we've heard of it.
I'm sorry?
I think it's the first we've heard of it.
Yeah, it'll be part of the motion. Yeah. Is that what she said?
She says the first they heard of it, they were probably under the assumption that the county was going to pay for it. Am I right?
Did we not have that no one had that discussion with them?
Can you come forward, please?
Yeah.
Whoever's on the line.
Hey, introduce yourself so we'll have it on record.
I'm Brooke Vandervelde, District 2.
Jackie Bibby was it District Pew?
4.
4.
All right, thank you. So,
We had not been told that we had to raise private funds for the monument.
okay, well, for that, I apologize. But the thinking was that since the first one was raised with private funds, all of it was raised with private funds, nothing from the Board of Supervisors, that this one would also be raised with private funds. We kind of know what the range is. Does that present, hopefully that doesn't present a problem.
Let us cut this back to our group, I suppose, and see, and put it out.
Ms. Witt?
You don't know. I'm Gloria Witt. I was president of NAACP when this issue came to the board in December of 2022. At that time, we worked with our county administrator and the board, and you all actioned a citizens group to discuss this matter. In fact, if I'm honest with myself, you basically picked a really interesting group of people to have this very long conversation. In fact, it was almost let's just say, it was designed to be a no-go. And these 5 or 6 people got together and came up with a language that was acceptable for all of them. And then the expansion of the signage was agreed on a year later from these 5 citizens that put multiple hours in. At no point during that conversation was there any conversation about citizens purchasing the signage. It was going to be covered by the county. So this is a new twist. And after 3 years, in fact, it was an anniversary yesterday, December 1st, 2025, that this thing has been kicked down the road, massaged, etc. So I would love to see it laid to rest with a yes today.
I want to say 2 things. One, it was not designed to fail, or whatever word you just said. No, well, wait a minute, Ms. Witt, let me talk. It was not designed to fail. I thought, you said interesting group of people. I thought it was.
It was a very...
We had historians.
Exactly.
We had, you all went to different places, looked, you kind of went field trips. I thought that was great. I thought that was really, really wonderful. The other thing, and we knew it was going longer than we wanted it to. We said, can you please let us get through the budget process? That was straightforward communication, very transparent. I hate that our budget process went the way that it went this year, but that's government. So anyway, I just don't want anybody to walk away from this process thinking that somebody was trying to do something underhanded or make it fail. I may not like the plaque, but that doesn't mean that I set other people up to fail, Ms. Witt, and I think you know me better than that.
I'll retract that, Ms. Tucker. It's just my thinking, and you have corrected that. Thank you.
Thank you. Do you want to make your motion?
Well, I'll make it. I honestly think we ought to pay for it, but I don't think that's going to pass. But I'll make the motion to see if it does. So, where is the motion? That the board accept the recommendation of the Monument Committee and shall be funded up to $5,500 by the county and would be placed in a location in the grassy area to the right of the monument as approved by the county administrator, similar to the attached mock-up, and shall not exceed 3 foot in height and 9 foot square feet in area, and shall meet all zoning ordinance requirements by the town of Amherst. Is that clear as mud?
So you're saying to pay for it with county funds? That's your
Up to
motion?
$5,500, yes, and I'll tell you why. We can debate the race thing, go back and forth, and, I had relatives that fought in the Civil War. I had relatives that I had one uncle, great-uncle, maybe great-great-uncle, that was killed for desertion like a week before the Civil War ended, right? I mean, to say that, it's kind of like we're saying, the African Americans of this county weren't wronged. $5,500 for a plaque just to give another point of view, I don't have a problem with that. And if y'all want to beat me up on social media, I'm not going to respond to you anyway. I've already told you that. But, $5,500, really? We've drugged this on for 3 years, guys. So that's my motion.
Well, I'll tell you what, and Ms. Wood, I just told you, I don't like the idea of the plaque, but if you did that and you did it with private funds, you'd come to me, you know what, I would give you a check. I would. So rather than have to spend money there, I'm going to spend money here. Mr. Martin's motion's on the floor. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Nay.
Okay. Opposed, nay. All right, motion passes.
Y'all done upset him so bad he's on the left.
He's got a small bladder.
All right, next we've got, and thank y'all, everybody that worked on that. We appreciate it. Next, we have the resolution supporting the VDOT Economic Development Access Funding for Dillard Site. Our EDA Director.
Good
Yes,
evening.
ma'am.
It's officially evening now. Earlier this year, you all had issued a resolution of support for the VDOT Economic Access Grant that would provide roads into the Dillard Industrial Site. In that resolution, it had said up to $500,000. We got back over a course of time a $550,000 estimate of what that design-only cost would be. And so in an abundance of caution, we went ahead and got the EDA applied for and received a grant to help pay for a contingency. So what we're asking for is an update on the resolution to say up to $800,000 at no cost to the county. The EDA has a small portion of a match, so that we have additional contingency funding if that design-only estimate comes in higher than what the original estimate was. And that is what the EDA is asking for tonight.
Any questions?
No.
Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion, Madam Chair. I move that the board approve Resolution 2025-15-R as presented.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Adams. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have the Go Virginia Region 2 grant matching. Mr. Peter Bryant.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Peter Bryan. I'm the Special Assistant to the President at Sweetbriar College, and I believe all of you all had in your packets a recommended board action. Sweetbriar is applying for a Go Virginia grant of $150,000. And part of that grant is that we have to come up with, Sweetbriar and its partners, $75,000, and then the Go Virginia will grant us a 2-for-1 based upon what we raise. We are asking the county to help us as a partner with $10,000 in the 2027 budget. We don't need the money now. The time crunch is that we have to file the paperwork on this Go Virginia grant by December the 19th, I believe. And we believe it's a great vehicle to generate participation between the county and the college. And I've asked my colleague, John Bender, who's the head of our engineering department, to briefly give you a little background on why we are doing this grant and the benefits that the county and the surrounding communities can reap from helping us with this and partnering with us. John?
Thank you, Ms. Bryant. Come forward, Ms. Bender. It's Dr. Bender, correct?
Yes, so I'm Jonathan Bender. I'm the director of the Sweetbriar Engineering, and as a professor, I will be very brief. You will recognize that requires restraint from me. It's truly not lost on me here today that to ask for an investment at a time when the county residents are in a degree of distress, it's not lost on me. The juxtaposition, though, of this request is unfortunate at best. Nonetheless, Sweetbriar Engineering Program has placed 12 graduates in Amherst County in the city of Lynchburg. They're productive members of society and are contributing to business development in the county and in the city of Lynchburg. And we want to expand that number through this Go Virginia grant proposal to the tune of about 5 graduates per year, working locally in the region and contributing to economic development. And we need your support. We need $10,000, as my colleague mentioned, for the fiscal year 2027, beginning in July. We intend to expand instruction in power generation specifically. We're going to be doing that through an expanded course curriculum, and this is intended to place graduates in the nuclear power industry here locally within the city of Lynchburg. And incidentally, it will also support refrigeration. The two are actually fairly close to each other, and so we're hoping to bring Buffalo Air Handling and Southern Air on board here in Amherst County. So the funding that we're requesting from the Commonwealth of Virginia then is primarily intended to catalyze partnerships between industry and academia for career development, for essentially talent development within the various regions where we reside in Region 2. As Mr. Bryant mentioned, industry is providing the lion's share of this. But the Commonwealth requires that the local governments participating in this contribute 20% of the matching, which amounts to about $10,000. And that's what I'm requesting. I'm happy to answer any questions now, and I am at your disposal if you have any questions after this. Thank you.
Mr. Wade, do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions. I'll just say I think this is a great idea. I think anytime you can set up our young folks to, get in that pipeline for engineering careers, especially locally, I'm in full support. So,
And I think I've said this to the board before, but Sweetbriar has a program where when a woman graduates from Sweetbriar College, correct me if I'm wrong, the degree in engineering, they've got a straight line to UVA to get a master's degree, straight line in engineering. I think that's just really, really nice. And we've got the opportunity to do internships, correct?
Yeah, so the intention, so I can't control industry hiring practices, obviously, but the intention is to provide, they would be then competitive, right, for industry positions, and these industries would commit then to face-to-face interviewing our students as part of this grant proposal. And I feel quite strongly, given the support that we have here locally, right, their goal is to keep people here, right? Because they have a lot of turnover in their industry because this isn't Southern California, right? So that's part of the challenge that they face. We place a large number of engineering students at the Newport News Shipbuilding Yard to work specifically in the nuclear industry there. So I think to myself, why can't we place them better here through this type of collaboration?
I mean, obviously I support it, and anything we can do to keep our young ladies here and in good jobs, I'm all for. So, and this will be the 2027 budget, correct?
Correct.
Any further questions?
Just a comment. I think it's kind of ironic since we're sitting here talking today, and we're all, our feelings are hurt with this reassessment, but we may look at it as timing is bad as far as us, spending $10,000 on this, but I will comment that anything we can do to promote economic development for Amherst County, we need to do, because I think the citizens of Amherst County need to understand, the ones that don't, that if we continue to promote economic development, that's what's going to help lessen the burden on the average taxpayer in Amherst County. And that's important for me. I want to make sure that we continue to promote Amherst County as being business friendly. I want to be able to continue to promote the programs such as you guys are bringing for us, to be able to promote programs that will support economic development. So it may be hard for people to see the fruits of this right now, but I firmly believe that we will see the fruits of this labor down the road. My only other question, Dr. Bender, is since Ms. Hanson is here from the EDA, how much communication do you guys have across the lines with our EDA in Amherst County?
So we've kind of begun conversations recently. She's fully supportive of what we're trying to do. Mr. Bryan, do you have any other comments to make? Because you were the one who's had
Well,
most of the comments there.
I have spoken to Victoria on a couple of occasions. She is in full support with what we want to do, and because of the economic development potential for something like this, she's fully on board. She also made the point that she has a very tight budget. We will be talking to her board in another week for the same thing, not the same amount of money, but nonetheless, any partner that we can get, the Go Virginia folks look at very favorably. And that only helps the chances and the likelihood that we will receive the grant.
Okay. I wasn't so much speaking about the fiscal aspect of it, but just from a networking standpoint for Amherst County is I want to make sure that our EDA and any other partners that we can do to support each other, that everybody is fully involved and integrated to be able to do so moving forward. So that was the point I was just trying to make with that. Thank y'all.
Any further questions? Mr. Martin?
I really feel like a butthead today, but anyway, not intending to. So, the Board of Supervisors directs the county administrator to add $10,000 to the fiscal year '27 budget. That's next year's budget that we haven't even talked about. So, how is this different than what we're setting aside for the EDA that we just discussed, right?
Well, they won't need it, they don't need it until next year. Their application is due in 2 days?
The 19th.
Oh, the 19th, okay, so within this
So we're
month.
directing you to make sure there's a line item in there.
Correct.
Assuming we're gonna adopt the budget the way.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
They need it for the, I mean, just you have to check that box for
I
the
mean, that's
grant.
fine, okay.
Good?
Yep.
Madam Chair, I'll go ahead and make a motion that the board direct the county administrator to add $10,000 to the fiscal year '27 budget to allocate required funds for the Sweetbriar College Go Virginia grant proposal.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Wade. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thanks, gentlemen.
Thank you very much.
Next, we've got the county administrator's report.
Yes, ma'am. The term of Stacy McBride, who is an at-large representative on the Central Virginia Community College Board, expires this coming June the 30th, 2026. She no longer resides in Amherst County, therefore is unable to continue to be the representative for Amherst County. As a result, staff advertised the vacancy on social media. The closing date was November the 21st. Staff received letters of interest from Mr. Wayne Patton and Mr. Joseph Beck. They are in your packet, and there's a number of motions for you to consider.
Board members, any conversation, any questions?
So we have one vacancy, correct, Jeremy? Do you know either two of these?
No, sir.
All right, well, I would think we would need to have an interview for the applicant unless you all have any prior knowledge of these individuals.
Great.
With that said, I'll go ahead and put that in the form of a motion.
Well, it looks like one of them's here.
Oh. Do y'all want to hear from him?
I think,
Hear from both of them, but.
Yeah.
are they
they're
both here? Are both of them here?
They were asked to be here.
But he's not here.
But are you saying you want to schedule a later meeting for an interview?
I mean, that's typically what we would do. I mean, if you wanted to hear from him tonight. No, okay, it's been a long. All right.
Yeah, I don't know one.
Typically, we would.
Oh, I know that, so I'm good with that, Mr. Pugh.
All right, we will schedule a interview for later on, whenever Jeremy can get it in the schedule.
All right, there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Pugh. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion passes. Thank you. Did you understand what we just did? Okay.
We'll be in touch.
Can you tell us?
No. All right. Horizon Behavioral Health, Mr. Bryant.
Yes, ma'am. The term of Robert Shiflett, citizen member for Horizon Behavioral Health, expires on December the 31st, 2025. When we wrote this staff report, summary, staff had received one letter, and that was from Marie Petrone. Yesterday, we received an email that Mr. Shiflett would like to continue to serve. So now we're back to two people, but we initially, when we published this, it was one. Would you like for us to do the same thing and schedule interviews? Or how would you like for staff to handle it?
Ms. Martin, you have any feelings about this?
Yeah, I mean, I think since there's two, I think we got beat up one time when we interviewed somebody that was already sitting on a board, but so be it. Yeah, I mean, for something like this, I'd definitely like to meet and discuss with them, so yes, absolutely.
You make a motion?
I make that into a motion. that we
Okay,
interview.
Mr. Martin has made a motion. Everybody in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. Next, we've got the Parks.
Did everybody vote or not?
Huh? What?
Oh, I didn't vote.
I think it was just you and I.
It was. Drew
I
and
vote aye.
Tom rule the world.
Yeah,
Yes.
we're, aye.
Thank you. All right, good.
Couldn't hear you. All right. Parks and Rec vacancy.
Yes, ma'am. The term of Sarah Lou Christian will expire on December the 31st, 2025. This is not a vacancy that is required to be advertised in the newspaper. However, staff did advertise this vacancy on social media with a closing date of November 21st, 2025. Staff received a letter of interest for reappointment from Ms. Christian.
This one's easy. I serve on the Parks and Rec board as the liaison. We're actually named a trail after Sarah Lou Christian, for goodness sake. So I would make a motion that we reappoint Miss Sarah Lou Christian for another term on the Parks and Recreation Board.
Motion on the floor by Mr. Martin. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Motion passes. And next, we've got before us the upcoming vacancies, Ag Board, Service Authority Board. Anything you wanted to say about that?
I just want to say aloud that we will have 3 openings on the Ag Committee Board. And so for those of you who are here and are listening, if you're interested in serving on the Agriculture Committee, please write us a letter. Or the Service Authority Board, we have a citizen member that is open for also the Amherst County Service Authority Board. So we're looking for people, so please help recruit and find people that are interested. You can send a letter to county administration, and we'll get it before the Board of Supervisors.
All right, board members, that's your homework.
Do we know what the current interest is within the sitting members? None of the 4 have any interest in remaining?
Mr. Woods does not. He's retiring. The other 3, have you talked to the other 3? They don't want to, oh dear.
Really?
Oh dear.
Aren't you the liaison to that board?
Yes.
My people want to be reappointed.
The Ag Board is so hard.
Yeah, I see, okay.
Your farming's hard.
Yep.
Okay. All right, thank you. Moving on, Mr. Pugh, County Attorney, of course, he's not here. Mr. Pugh, Planning Commission.
I was unable to attend the last Planning Commission meeting. I was out of town getting my mother-in-law from the airport. So if you have any questions, I would direct them towards Mr. Creasy, which I don't see here.
All right, done. Next, we're going to have the Social Services Board Annual Report. The Director, Mr. Metter. Good to see you.
It's nice to see y'all. I'm gonna try to end this meeting on a positive note here.
I like the sound of that.
Sorry I didn't get to send that to you guys in advance, but I was working on it until this morning due to Thanksgiving, so if you had any questions, just speak up. All right, good afternoon. My name is Jason Metter. I'm the Director here of Amherst County Social Services. Robin McFadden is our Assistant Director. I think she's in the back down there. If you have any budget-related questions, she's going to be the person to ask. All right, I always like to start off giving you their mission statement. We offer timely, appropriate quality services to individuals and families in order to promote self-sufficiency and to protect children and adults. Below that, you'll see a non-comprehensive list of all our services that we offer. Not many people know exactly what we do or how big of an impact we have on the community. So I always like to put this up here too, because I think there's a misconception out there of what we do. Back. All right, there's our organizational chart. As of today, we have 51 of 52 positions filled.
Sorry.
This includes a part-time fraud investigator and 1 hourly emergency worker that we currently have in family services. We also have several interns that are periodically with us throughout the year from Liberty University usually. Our department is divided into 3 major program areas: benefits programs, which includes intake, ongoing, or self-sufficiency program; family services, that includes APS, CPS, in-home prevention team, and foster care; and then we have administrative team. We're also overseen by our local DSS board, which is comprised of 5 people, including the Board of Supervisors liaison, Mr. Pugh. All right, next couple of slides are going to include some information from the local profile report that is provided from state DSS. This is auto-generated data. It's not necessarily 100% accurate and up to date, but it's close. Just breaks down the statistics and figures that may be of interest to the board and the community in relation to what we do. Basically, our biggest 2 program areas, BPS and family services. And I'll start off with the benefits programs team. All right, this slide is just a general overview of the statistics about Amherst County and provides some reference for the following slides. These numbers come from the latest census data from 2020, and the ALICE poverty guidelines are set by the Department of Health and Human Services. So you can see we have about 32,000 people in the county, which equals about 12,700 households. The median household income is about 68,000, 67,000. Labor force participation rate, 60%. The poverty threshold that was set this year for a single person, that's $15,650 a year. For a family of 4, that's going to be $32,150. So if you make below that, you are considered in poverty. If you make above that but still have a hard time making ends meet, you're going to be called an ALICE household. That's an asset-limited, income-constrained, and employed. Like I said, these are above the poverty threshold, but still struggle to make ends meet based on family size and the cost of living. And then if you see there at the bottom, right now we have about 12% of the total population that's considered impoverished in Amherst County. So keeping in mind the numbers that I just told you from the previous slide, I'm going to give you an idea how many benefits and assistance programs we have and the application numbers that come through our office in a given year. As I mentioned before in the first slide, we have 3 big assistance programs plus child care. We have SNAP, which is food stamps, EBT, TANF, which is temporary assistance for needy families. That's a federally funded state-run program that provides temporary assistance to eligible families to help meet their basic needs. We have Medicaid, which is the joint federal and state program that provides health coverage to low-income adults. And then we have child care assistance as well. That's a subsidy program that assists families in paying child care costs for children under 13 who are not eligible to attend public school, or children with special needs under 18 who reside with the applicant. So this slide is going to show you the end result from the previous slide, all the applications we received. For state fiscal year 25, we had approximately 10,548 residents who received one of the big 3 benefits, SNAP, TANF, Medicaid, and then an additional 95 to 100 families that received child care assistance. If you add that all together, it's roughly 34% of the entire population of Amherst County. So because we have so many applications come through and there's so much money involved, there's always potential for fraud and waste. In August 2024, we were able to finally hire a part-time fraud investigator, Christopher Persons, who did a great job, but unfortunately he did retire in August of 25, which was this year. Took us a couple months, but we were able to find another investigator. His name is Tremaine Barber. He came on board with us last month and is still in the process of training. I'm confident he will do a great job, just like Chris did, but it's going to take a little bit of time to get caught up. He's from the Albemarle area, he's a former police officer. Fortunately, this department has a great working relationship with both the Sheriff's Office and the Commonwealth Attorney Office, and aggressively pursues any allegations of fraud and issued overpayments that we become aware of. As of today, we have had over 50 fraud overpayment referrals investigated, including one that involves an alleged $8,000 worth of fraudulent payments, and another one that involves child care fraud that's about $7,000 potential recouped funds we could get from that. The $11,000 one is already been direct indicted, scheduled for court next month in January. Moving on to our family services area, which is another big program area we have. As I said before, this includes our adult protection team, child protection team, prevention team, and all of foster care. You read the numbers, you can see the number of referrals we had. Out of 376 referrals, we investigated 216. That includes 12 out of family, which is, you know, if it was happening in the schools or daycare. 2 child fatalities. We had about 54 family partnership meetings, which are led by a facilitator and designed to actively engage the family and our staff in the planning and decision-making process about the safety, well-being, and living situation of any child that may come into contact with our office. Adult services, very high as well. 208 referrals, 161 investigations, 129 long-term services and support screens that provides, you know, support in nursing homes or community-based settings to individuals with physical or mental conditions that require constant supervision. If you add up all those investigations, that's about 584 total throughout the year, which is about 1.6 a day that we end up doing throughout the year. Foster care, we currently have about 19 children in care. This includes 3 sibling sets. We also have 4 in Fostering Futures program, which is a voluntary program for young adults that age out of foster care. They're between the ages of 18 and 21. We provide financial and social support for them. They can cover things like housing, education, job assistance, or other independent living needs that they identify. And the best part about this is at the bottom. We did finalize 2 adoptions this year and have a potential 3rd being finalized soon as they can get into court. So the bottom line. Notable fact, we do have a VIEW program, Virginia Initiative for Education and Work, that helped one participant start her own business and assisted with the down payment of a used vehicle. 4 VIEW participants transitioned out of VIEW as the jobs they took got them out of the program, which is our main goal. That's one of the most innovative VIEW plans in the state. You can see all the numbers, you know, almost 11,000 benefits program customers we've served. Main goal, like I said, is to help people become self-sufficient. Provided child care services for 93 families, including 138 children. We conducted over 580 protective services investigations. Received 11 children into foster care this year. We got to return 2 of them home. Again, we finalized 2 adoptions, and then we participate in numerous community outreach programs such as Toys for Tots and other things. One big thing I'm proud of is we really have become an example agency in our area. We have several new directors in DSS land that come to us to help train them. We have managers from them that come to us. We act as, mentors to them. So we're getting that reputation out in the community. And then this is the most important slide, talking about money all day. So with all that being said, we do ask for the bare minimum amount of money from the county that's required by federal and state law. If you look at these numbers, you can see that DSS produces about $115 million in revenue to the community for only about a $2 million local share investment from the county. This is only about 1.6 of the total amount of generated revenue. Out of that, only about 0.2% is non-reimbursable. Another way to look at this, it's a 98% profit, or 5,600% return on investment. I would argue that makes us one of the most, if not the most, cost-effective departments in the county. So that's my presentation. Does anybody have any questions?
Board members, Mr. Wade.
2 questions. So you mentioned 584 investigations roughly. How many of those alleged actually led to something further as far as fraud?
The 584 were in-home investigations, so that's CPS, APS. The fraud investigations was about 50 of them. Right. A lot of those are still in process because of the transition. The big ones, like I said, was the $11,000 one that's gonna come our way, and then another $7,000 one that's gonna come our way. A lot of the time, it doesn't reach the level of actually criminally charging them. We do in-house processes that basically say, hey, I made a mistake by accident, and then we'll recoup it like that. But just the community knowing that we actually do have somebody out here enforcing this stuff is a big deterrent as well. And to remind you, this is a part-time position with 20 hours a week limit. So I think we're getting the most out of it as we can.
Second thing, I'll just say what you're doing, what your team's doing is, critical to providing the needs for many folks in the county. So just looking ahead, what kind of things do you think you're going to need going forward, and what can this board look for come budget season? What can we expect?
Well, keep in mind that we are different than most of the other departments here, where the local share of this is actually very low. So we anticipate the elderly population to keep growing. We anticipate CPS complaints to keep going. So we are asking for a couple new positions in the family services realm. And I understand all this is budget constrained, but when you look at what we request, just please keep in mind that most of our stuff is reimbursable, and then the return on investment, like I said. So I'll say that's what we're looking for. But other than that, I think you guys you're supporting us really, really well. I think all the departments are that we work with.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Board members? Mr. Martin?
Thank you. Can you go back to the slide showing the bar graph of the different programs? Yes. So why the drop in TANF in 2025?
I really couldn't tell you. I tried to figure it out. There's no rhyme or reason to it. This is how much either less people applied for it or less people were eligible for it when they did apply, which is actually a good thing. We'd like to see all these down to 0. So theoretically, the more people make, the more jobs they have, the less they need us. So I would think it's because we're helping them become self-sufficient and they don't need us as much.
Board members?
Thank you.
Just a couple of things, Madam Chair. So, Mr. Mayor, that big number, the 115 million, Do I remember correctly from last year that that's down from last year?
I think, I don't have it in front of me, but I think it was down a couple $1,000s. And
Yeah,
that's,
I could have sworn it was like 120 million last year, but I can't remember. I doubt if it's that big of a jump. But anyway, nonetheless, I guess it kind of leads me into my next question. What are you guys seeing as far as a need for services across the board? Is it kind of leveled out, or are you still seeing an increase? I mean, does it kind of ebb and flow?
investigations, referrals have gone up, especially in the APS side. We're getting bombarded with adult protective services referrals, and we only have really 2 full-time employees back there. So they're doing all they can to keep their head above water. And then, of course, we're going to need new benefits workers as well, because they're changing all the laws when it comes to, I'm sure you see all the SNAP stuff in the news over the last couple months. They're changing all the laws and holding us more accountable, not us particularly, but DSS localities for their error rates when processing applications. And based on the error rate for the total state or region, or however they calculate it, we're going to be responsible for more local share in our budget. So I would say that's really something we need to focus on too, which is another reason we're asking for another benefits worker. So we can catch that stuff.
The last thing is, and Ms. Tucker and I have been in several events within the last year in coordination with the school system, whether it's their legislative meeting that we were just attending last week, or when another function at the school. But the school superintendent and his staff presents staggering information associated with the mental health crisis in children. And that's tough, right? But is there any, because from what we're being told from the school system side, is there any connection between your department and the school system to be able to offer any type of consistent services? Because it seems like they're getting, unless I'm reading it wrong or hearing it wrong, they're getting a service inside the school system, and basically when they leave the school system, it's kind of fractured until they get back into school the following day. And ironically, got Ms. Thompson here from the school board, but that's just kind of the way I take it. Am I correct in that, or?
Yeah, so really the whole essence of our in-home prevention team is once a child or a family comes into contact with us, if we determine they need services beyond that one instance, that we'll set up an in-home case with them where they periodically meet with our workers and talk about what you just talked about and see what services we can refer them to or even provide ourselves. And then we try to work with the schools in tandem to make sure that we're all hitting it from every angle.
Okay.
Yeah. But that requires voluntary participation most of the time, which is the issue. So
Voluntary participation from the
families.
recipient? Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
Any
Thank you,
further-
sir.
Any further questions? I've got one thing I'll say. Thank you for everything that you're doing, and it just makes us feel good to know that we are the shining example of how this should be run. So thank you, Director, for that. The other thing is that when our neighbors over in Nelson County were having difficulties, I called you up and just kind of said, hey, was everything good here? And, it was, and I'm sure, they're going to work through their stuff, not our problem. But thank you for looking out for our people.
All right. Part of their problem is they don't have a good relationship. They didn't with their board of supervisors and the other community partners. They wouldn't speak to them at all. So we don't have that problem here.
No, we do not.
So I appreciate it.
Thank you, Director Metter.
Thank
We
you, sir.
appreciate you. All right, now, we are going to open this back up for citizen comment. So, is anyone here wishing to speak?
Brooke Vanderveld, still District 2. I just wanted to say thank you. I think it's a really positive thing, your vote today. Mr. Martin, I really appreciate your comments. I just want to commend Jeremy Bryant, Mr. Bryant, who was just incredibly professional and effective. It was an interesting group of people. We had an incredible spectrum of viewpoints, and what Mr. Bryant did in facilitating our work was really amazing. I really appreciate the honor of serving on the committee. I'm the great-granddaughter of founder of the Farmville UDC chapter, and of a very enthusiastic member of the Confederate Veterans Organization. So Farmville isn't my home, this is my home. So really appreciate the opportunity to be involved here with this project, which I think is going to be a really positive thing for the county. I want to mention that the DHR, I don't know if you heard this, but DHR told us that this sign was excellent and could be a model for other counties, right? So yes, proliferation of plaques perhaps, but maybe not here, Mr. Wade. So yeah, I appreciate your vote. I appreciate your honoring our work. Thank you.
And we appreciate you and the people that worked with you, so thank you. Yes, sir. Wait a minute. Ms. Witt, he beat you to it.
Hello, I'm Bill Spidell. I live up in Tusculum Estates. And I had more of a question of curiosity than of anything else. I was surprised when I heard that the amount of money it costs us to do the assays on the houses, the assessments of $600,000 every time we do it. I just wondered if anything's preventing us from just using Zillow, and we'd have real-time updates.
Virginia State Code. But anyway, that was just a very short answer. There are all kinds of things that this board has been looking at, and some of them were mentioned today. Maybe bringing it in-house, changing the cycle we do it on. So there really was a lot of good information put forward, a lot of things for us to chew on.
Yeah, it just, seemed to me like I'm going to go with Zillow information if I contest any of mine. And that's real-time neighborhood updates on what is sold and what it's worth. And in some neighborhoods, we may gain some. In some neighborhoods, we may lose some. But it seems that there's, I was really kind of taken back by the disparity in the assessments. It would seem to me that across Amherst County, there might be an average of going up 5, 10, 15, 20, or even 50%. But it doesn't seem like there's a common average that it went up for any specific household. And for me, that just throws a whole lot of red flags up. I just wanted to throw that out there. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you, Mr. Spidell.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Ms. Witt?
Thank you, Board Chair. Gloria Witt, District 2, I believe. I just wanted just a quick thank you to our County Administrator, Jeremy Bryant, and to the team members, Brooke Vanderbilt and Jackie Bibby, and the other members of the team. They really did do the work, and I am just honored to have been a part of it, and I want to acknowledge the courage of this board and the idea. We are living our motto of building a perfect slice of a Virginia, because you're willing to struggle through the hard conversations. And a lot of communities don't have the courage. And I am proud to be a part of the dialogue and to just watch the leadership. Thank you. I really do appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Witt.
Ma'am.
Anybody else wish? Yes, ma'am.
I am Jackie Bibby, and I am District 4, I believe. I just want to say thank you. Thank you to this committee. It was said before, when you put the committee together, it was a diverse committee, very diverse. I happened to be the only black on the committee. and to go back and relive growing up here in Amherst County and what some of my ancestors did. It was unbelievable. And then to hear other stories from other people was unbelievable. But Jeremy, through his wisdom and his guidance, we made it through. And I thank you, Jeremy, for all that you did with the committee. It was very enlightening, to say the least. And I appreciate that this board was willing to work to see something different happen here in Amherst County. It was very different. I grew up here, been here all my life. And what you gave us, and I'm talking about my race, what you gave us was very different, and I thank you.
Ms. Bibby, working on this, I didn't realize that you were the only African-American on that committee. Was it painful? Was it painful to you, or did you get through that and you're just glad for the outcome now?
Well, it was painful at times. I mean, at some points, I had to really explain my viewpoint of what was going on. But that part of it did not bother me. But, you know, you look back and you think about the different viewpoints that your neighbor might have. And you wonder, I grew up in the same area, in the same place. And why is this viewpoint so far different from what I did? I mean, we were all relative around the same age. I mean, so why would your viewpoint be so much different, even after living from that time period? And you wonder why. And even today, we wonder why we can't all be in that same pot, and we can't all get together and do what is best for Amherst County, because that's ultimately what we want. We want our county to be the premium county in Virginia, and we can't do it one person here, one person there. We're gonna have to do it as a group. And anything that I can do to put that forward, I'm willing to do it.
Thank you, Ms. Bibby. We
Because
appreciate you.
I love Amherst County.
Yep.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Be real brief. Ron Fisher again from Chris's district. I wanted to thank the board for their thoughtful dialogue and approach to the reassessment challenge. I realize there's a perfect storm as to why we have the 1,000% increase. I'm encouraged by the dialogue that I've seen here tonight, and I'm hopeful that we'll come up with a reasonable resolution. But it demonstrated some good leadership here tonight, and that is most appreciated. The one feedback I would give, though, is before a letter like that goes out for your residents, big outliers like that capture. Now, I know it's not required by law or anything like that, but I would recommend in the process going forward, there won't be those big surprises, but for the ones that you do have, heads up, not getting something like that directly in the mail, get you even more extreme sticker shock. And, but I'm encouraged by the dialogue, and the Board of Supervisors have always been very supportive of our efforts. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Labadie.
Mark Labadie, District 2. Claudia Tucker is my representative. I just want to go back to that 2008 era for a moment. And one of the things that I want to address on that is that there are two people here present at that time, at this time, that were associated with the county. Chris, I believe you were a board member at that time, and you were a new hire, Jeremy. And at that time, I found that Mr. Bryant was, and to this day, I still find him to be extremely professional. And I'm not one who gives out a lot of kudos, so bear that in mind. I'm giving you kudos.
I'll second that.
I'll third it. But here's the problem that I have with that 2008 era. You know, and I'm not going to talk about my opinion about 10 grand to those people, 6 grand to those people. I'm going to talk about the accumulative of those numbers that keep on coming and keep on coming and keep on coming. And then let's just add into this, I don't want to call it insult to injury, but this is an egregious situation that occurred in 2008. And I can speak firsthand from it because I'm the man who did the FOIA request to find out that there's an attorney on this, in this county, his business is on Main Street. And during a 2-year period of time, during that period, this man milked the county for 500 grand a year. I said milked the county. I didn't say bilked the county. The bilking of the taxpayers was from all of you on the board that allowed him to bill the county citizens $500,000 a year. So I'm just going to leave that with you. We got a lot more to discuss.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Ms. Labadie. Anybody else wishing to speak? Yes, sir, Mr. Soger.
Peace and love, y'all. Sam Soger, District 2. Wow, Mrs. Bibby, you knocked it out of the park. And I just want to say I'm proud of our citizens today in the citizen comment and the board for the civility, because that really does show how well we could be diplomatic. We can actually achieve much more when we're at loggerheads, you know? And wow, Chief Martin, I really appreciated what you said. Bravo. And it's not lost on me that Chief Martin is the one of us, and there's others, but he's the one of us that gets up regardless of how he feels at 3 a.m. to deal with the most gruesome stuff while we sleep and get ready for our workday. And he has to deal with that stuff, you know, for the safety of our community and then go to work. That's a life of service. And just like they say in the scripture, give and you will be given to. Your cup will runneth over. You, sir, you understand the magic of living a life of service. And we should all listen to Tom Martin, what he had to say there, because you're the man. Peace and love, y'all.
Peace and love, Sam.
Thank you.
Anyone else here wishing to speak?
Madam Chair, I just have an email that the citizen requested to be read during citizen's comment.
Yes, sir.
So this is in regards, this is from Whitney Gregory, District 3, regards special exception 2024-154. Board members, I'm here today because we hope that it is now even more evident as to why we truly need your help more than ever to proceed with the next steps to revoke and rehear the special exception in our community. We will still believe in the role this board plays in protecting the safety, welfare, and integrity of every community in this county with proper conditions regarding exceptions to land use. Your recent willingness to consider revocation is not only appropriate, it is compassionate. Your action would be punitive. It would not be punitive. It would simply restore fairness and give the county the opportunity to apply reasonable, enforceable conditions when a new application is submitted. Conditions that protect everyone, families, children, property owners, and even the business itself. But I also must share what happened since the last meeting because it speaks directly to the urgency of restoring calm and fairness. Neighbors have been targeted with a social media campaign meant to intimidate, breed hate, and incite hostility. We have heard from colleagues that comments have called for employers of neighbors to be exposed. Some have even suggested psychological evaluations for the neighbors who dare to speak in opposition or conduct lawful lives. And others have encouraged punishing neighbors with additional prolonged amplified music and intentional escalation meant to harm, not heal. The neighborhood has had endless law enforcement visits and court dates over the last 2 years, where all charges have either been dropped or dismissed. This is not what community should look like. This is not what responsible Amherst business leadership should look like. And it is not what anyone should face for simply asking their leadership for help. We're ready to heal. We're ready to contribute to restoration of peace and harmony of our neighborhood and the business to coexist. We love our neighborhood. We love our neighbors, all our neighbors. This is why we are here, because we want to restore the peace and safety with logical conditions that are within your reach. We are not trying to shut down a business. We are trying to correct a decision that was built on misleading information and left our families unprotected. So today I'm asking genuinely and respectfully that you continue the path you have started. Please help us move forward with the resolution to revoke the current permit so it can be reheard with proper conditions for any future reapplication. Doing so will give our neighborhood a chance to heal, to feel safe again, and to begin 2026 with hope instead of fear and intimidation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Adams. All right, now we move on to members, matters from members of the board. Mr. Wade. I'm sorry, Mr. Campbell? Yes, you may.
About time you showed up.
Oh, God, don't
I didn't
start.
come here tonight to speak. I'm a little rusty, and this is citizen comments, so we can talk
This,
about
yeah, I did not
anything.
close citizen comments, yes.
So we can talk about anything. Something's weighed on my heart. I'm not one to bring out personal business in a public setting, so bear with me. I couldn't help but watch the presentation by your social services director, Mr. Metter, I believe it was. And something struck me. I think it was 584 investigations. Some was APS. Well, APS hits dear and close to home for me. I've had a sister that goes. She was in a home environment, and it was in Mr. Adams' district. And she was rushed to the hospital, unresponsive and everything. That's been some years ago, and thank God she bounced back. The social services then, they investigated, and nothing came out of that. Nobody was prosecuted. You know, if it wasn't for myself taking initiative and actually suing the caregivers and the company that did it, she wouldn't have anything to show for other than scars. She had bed sores down to the bone that took years to heal. They said she'd never walk again, but she proved them wrong. Just recently, I lost my mother. Similar circumstance, but this time it was a family member. I again reached out to social services, the APS. They have two people. I've met with both of them. And far as I'm concerned, they should lose their jobs. They should be prosecuted because not one time, they even threatened me and told me I could be investigated for calling them. They said they didn't want to lose their job, but I lost my mother. And I don't have any sort of good things to say about him. I had to wait till he left the room. But my mother's name was Shirley Campbell. She was 88 years old. She didn't deserve to go through the shit she did for the last 2 years of her life because of social services' inability to do their job. But on a lighter note, my property assessment, 169% increase. I spoke with the assessors, and they assured me they're going to work on it, and I have. I'm hopeful that we're going to come to some kind of resolution on that. So that's it. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Campbell, and I'm sorry about your two family members. All right, is there anyone else wishing to speak? We are closing citizen comments and moving on to matters from the board. Mr. Wade.
All right, two things. It's going to take a while, so y'all bear with me. I prepared it to read here. During the last board meeting, it was brought to our attention that a recent Brady letter had been issued against Officer Begley because of his recent request for funds for county officers fighting Brady allegations. Based on that, I did a little homework, and I'll dive into that here in a minute. Just as a reminder to everyone watching, in short, the Brady Rule is a constitutional requirement to ensure defendants get a fair trial. Brady letters are issued as a formal mechanism to provide defendants with any and all evidence that's available regarding officers that are testifying against the said defendant. They are a means to which prosecutors disclose all evidence that may be favorable to the defense, and per the United States versus Begley, that's ironic, and Kyles versus Whitley cases, must be disclosed whether the defense requests it or not. If a prosecutor fails to provide any information, a mistrial could ensue, or even worse, a conviction could be overturned. I recently had the opportunity to sit down with Mr. Carver, the Commonwealth Attorney, last week to discuss the matter in detail, as well as discuss matters surrounding a third Brady letter against Begley. I know the board requested details from Mr. Carver, and I'm sure he'll provide those upon receipt of that request, but I'll go ahead and share a Cliff Notes version now of what I learned over the course of my visit with him. In all fairness, I did try to schedule a meeting between him and the sheriff's office as a way for everyone to speak their piece, discuss the facts, the law, and everything that goes into Brady letters, and ultimately try to get everyone on the same page. We know that the letter was issued as a result of a conversation between Mr. Martin and Officer Begley during the February 4th, 2025 meeting. Mr. Martin asked for clarification from Begley as to whether he directly went back into the special counsel to correct his testimony on his own merit, to which Begley responded, "That's exactly right." Unfortunately, words matter, especially given his profession, and that is not what happened. If we go back to the original letter from Lynchburg, we can see that the correction to his testimony came from an email his lawyer issued later that evening. So, given that, despite our feelings on the matter, from a legalistic viewpoint, I believe the second letter was fully warranted given the context and how it ties back to the original event in question and the sequence of events. Regarding the third letter, part of that letter identifies a certain theme in which Officer Begley appears to have a habit of violating defendants' constitutional rights. As a result, his actions impacted the nature of a 2009 case and again in 2021. A letter, not Brady, was issued to the sheriff's office in 2021 indicating such. This, along with other items which I will not be diving into tonight, are clearly information a defense attorney could use to discredit an officer's testimony and ensure a fair trial for a criminal defendant, as ensured by our Constitution. Let's quickly cover the timing of those follow-up letters, because timing is important. These Brady letters, the second and third one, were both issued in June of this year. I think it's funny how the Board of Supervisors didn't find out till November, but that goes back to timing. So what was occurring around the same time of the year those follow-up letters were issued? Well, the Jacob Sales trial, the Justin Sales trial. Why is that important? Solely because had the Commonwealth Attorney not disclosed the information to the defense, this case may have resulted in a mistrial, and the victim's family may not have received the justice they deserved. I believe this board needs to take a step back and look at this without emotions and without personal connections. We have a Commonwealth Attorney who's more interested in ensuring a fair trial than just winning cases, even though he happens to be on a winning streak as of late. As a result, let's look at the cases that his office has dealt with recently. You've got Justin Sales, guilty of all charges, sentenced to life with parole plus 38 years. You've got Calvin Hamilton, guilty of forced sodomy on a child. You got Frederick Wigington, guilty of first-degree murder. Joseph Cunningham, guilty of second-degree murder. Chris Austin, guilty of second-degree murder. And then Dante Davis, sentenced for drug distribution of Schedule I and Schedule II narcotics. This Commonwealth Attorney and his office is knocking it out of the park. Last thing on the topic, I'm going to ask going forward, since, I won't be here, please consider all facts before making insinuations that are not grounded in truth. Let's stop trying to make one office look bad over the other. That creates unnecessary tension for those being attacked and discussed, which may open this board to potential harassment claims. But it also impacts the day-to-day operations. What's best for this county is to have those agencies operating in conjunction with each other like gears on a well-oiled machine. So, Moving from that to my next item and last item, brings me to my final comment tonight. And I apologize for taking so much time, but I want to say thank you to everyone up here and everyone that makes this county run as smoothly as it does. This is going to be my last in-person meeting since I am not going to be available for the meeting on the 16th. So my apologies in advance. It has been a pleasure working with each of you over the past 4 years, even you. Many don't know this, but I probably would not have jumped in the race years ago had Claudia not called me. I was just looking at opportunities to serve locally and beyond, and Claudia happened to call me up, give me a rundown of the board, and I jumped in. So thank you, Claudia. Appreciate it. I appreciate each and every one up here, even former supervisor, current sheriff Jimmy Ayers, who used to sit where you do, Chris. I've learned so much from each of you, and I want to applaud all of you for maintaining civility even when we disagree. Jeremy, keep up the good work. So you've got a great staff supporting you. I can't speak highly enough of that. And I look forward to seeing where the next 4 years takes the county. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wade. Mr. Adams?
I have nothing.
You?
I have nothing.
Mr. Martin?
I had nothing, but Mr. Campbell made some pretty serious allegations that I'm going to ask our county administrator to look into. Sounds like it's some personnel things going on. It needs to be addressed, right? How you choose to handle that's up to you, but we can't idly not look into that, okay? And that's it.
I don't have anything. Board members, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Meeting is adjourned.
Got a couple things for you to sign. It's the resolution and the minutes.